Everyone else saw this situation as well. There was just a ruined low-grade spirit range and low-level spirit herbs. The highest level spirit herb was only level 6. There were some rare ones, but none of them interested these truth realization state cultivators. Everyone else saw this situation as well. There was just a ruined low-grade spirit range and low-level spirit herbs. The highest level spirit herb was only level 6. There were some rare ones, but none of them interested these truth realization state cultivators. There seemed to be a herb garden next to it, but it was empty, judging by the ruins. Some people moved it away not long ago. Only Jia Feng's 2 daughters happily went to dig up low-level spirit herbs. The rest of the cultivators didn't do anything. There was no way they were going to fight over low-level spirit herbs with hollow spirit state cultivators. Things were taken away. I'm going to look somewhere else. Tung Xiong saluted with his fists and left this place. Huang Qi and Gong Zhi glanced at each other and saluted with their fists. Island Lord Jia. We'll be going other places too. Then the 2 left here rapidly, and only the middle-aged man and his 2 daughters were left. Jia Feng frowned and suddenly said, "Yukai, tell me again what you and Yuning saw." The green-robed girl nodded. "When we came in, there was that young man fighting with a female cultivator. He seemed to have the lower hand, and we couldn't see his power. When the female cultivator saw us come in, she was about to attack us, but at that moment the guy counterattacked. The female cultivator had to give up attacking us and fight the male. We ran out at that time." Jia Feng nodded. Cultivators couldn't be judged on looks. He believed Yi Mo was a powerful cultivator who has been cultivating for many years. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to dissipate the gray mist and come here. The younger sister also said, "I saw his magic artifact was a purple kitchen knife. It seemed to be very strong. It seems that the one who fled when we came here was one of them. Dad, do you think it was the guy or the female who got away? Should we chase up?" the green-robed girl asked. The middle-aged man thought for a moment and said, "From now on, you two won't be allowed to leave the island alone again. If it wasn't for luck, you two would have been dead." The red-robed girl wasn't willing, but still agreed. Jia Feng immediately said, "Regardless of who got away, the high-level spirit herbs are with them. If we chase up now, and there's a mortal curl flower, that's the only spirit herb useful to your sister. We need to go now. That person's flying magic artifact is an extreme grade cultivation artifact. If we waste more time, we won't be able to catch up." Tung Xiong's face was green now. There was just a simple spirit sense barrier formation before him with a spirit sense mark was trapped inside. This was the spirit sense mark he left on Yemo. "I underestimated you. You can even remove truth realization state, cultivator spirit sense marks. It seems you have more secrets than I thought," Tung Xiong said, and then took out a top-grade flying magic artifact before looking at the direction Lan Chure disappeared to. In a blink, he disappeared from Lost Soul Ruins in a white beam. He realized why the Lost Soul Ruins was safe now, and yet Lan Chure didn't come in. He knew that Yi Mo had left. Although Tung Xiong didn't know why Yi Mo took his spirit sense mark but couldn't take off Lan Chirue's spirit sense mark, he wasn't going to let Yi Mo fall into Lan Chirue's hands. A level 7 Pill King was crucial to the Dragon Tung Palace. He might become an overlord of an even greater region due to Yi Mo. His palace was a little stronger than Chi Tian Island, but if Yi Mo is taken away by them, it was no good for him. Jia Feng took his daughters out of the formation door and saw Tung Xiong leave. He immediately frowned. The red-robed girl said, "Dad, I saw that person leave towards the north. Why did Dragon Tung King chase east?" Jia Feng shook his head. "I don't know, but that Lan Chirui left towards the east as well. It should be something between them. We don't need to worry. Let's go north." Then Jia Feng took out an extreme grade flying cultivation artifact and left with his daughters. He was thinking about who the person inside the Lost Soul Ruins was. He seemed very important to Tung Xiong and Lan Chirwei. Why did they leave in the opposite directions? Huang Qi saw Jiefeng and Teng Xiong leave. Gongzhou also frowned but replied, "Ignore Jiefeng, he probably has his own business. We just need to follow Dragon Teng King. He left in the direction Lan Chirwei went." I think Teng Xiong lost Yi Mo while Lan Chirwei was going in the right direction. That's right, Jiefeng doesn't know about Yi Mo, so he's not going to chase him for sure, Huang Qi immediately said. The two reached an agreement and immediately chased after Teng Xiong. Soon, the Lost Soul Ruins was desolate again. Yi Mo put 8 extreme grade spirit stones in Blue Moon and fled like crazy. Half a day later, he saw no one came, so he changed directions. 5 days later, Yi Mo breathed easy. He estimated that no one would be chasing up to him now, but before he could relax, he had the feeling of being watched again. Before he could think, a yellow beam faster than Blue Moon chased up and surpassed Blue Moon. Yi Mo's heart sunk. Looking at this, it was clear the yellow beam came for him. He slowed down and stood in front of Blue Moon. If he couldn't beat this person, he would run into the Heartless Sea and hide in the Golden Page world. The yellow light stopped, and 3 cultivators got off. When Yi Mo saw the 2 girls, he immediately knew what was going on. It was those 2 girls who suddenly came in that allowed him to see the wave of the female cultivator's spirit sense cultivation method. From that, he learned spirit sense transformation and reached Purple Eye Soul Sever Level 4. But it was due to him that they survived. Now, it seems that the 2 girls brought help, and the middle-aged man in front of them was Truth Realization State Peak Stage already. He couldn't even beat an injured Truth Realization State Level 6, much less a Truth Realization State Peak Stage. Yi Mo knew he had no chance at all. When Jiefeng saw Yi Mo, there was a sliver of shock in his eyes. He could tell Yi Mo was young, too young, yet his power was cauldron-filling state level 2. But soon he hid his shock and saluted with his fists. "I'm Inju Island Lord Jiefeng. I was a rush to see you, but I need to thank you for saving my daughters first." No wonder the 2 dared to roam around. Clearly their dad was very famous around here. Yi Mo had a good impression seeing that this Truth Realization State Peak Stage was so polite to him, so he saluted with his fists. "Wan Bei, Yi Mo. Island Lord Jie, you're too polite. It was just an accident. I didn't intentionally save your daughters." Yi Mo felt uneasy. The 2 girls saw him fighting with the female cultivator. If they went to Lost Soul Ruins as well, they would know that the spirit herbs in there were in his pockets. Yi Mo knew what level 9 spirit herbs meant to truth realization states. There was no way of resisting if he wanted to rob him and kill him. Yi Mo instantly thought of 2 ways. One was to dodge the first attack and grab one of his daughters as hostage. The second was to dash into Heartless Sea and enter the Golden Page world, testing his luck. Yi Mo immediately gave up the first idea. It was obviously impossible to grab his daughter in front of him. He could only try the second method. Even if he had to give up Blue Moon, he would dash into Heartless Sea instantly. Yi Mo immediately went on full alert watching Jiefeng. Jiefeng waved his hand, and an ore-emitting aqua light appeared on his hand. This was Blue Extreme Rock, a level 9 material. Jiefeng waved his hand, and an ore-emitting aqua light appeared on his hand. This was Blue Extreme Rock, a level 9 material. This was equivalent to the Huang Star Rock he got. It was very rare, but Yi Mo didn't know why Jiefeng took this out. Jiefeng smiled. "Yi Mo, brother, I'm a bit older than you, so I'll call you little brother. Have you seen this rock before?" Yi Mo nodded. "If Wan Bei isn't wrong, it's level 9 material Blue Extreme Rock. Very rare." Jiefeng nodded with approval. "Keen eyes, brother. This is indeed Blue Extreme Rock, but now it's yours." Then he threw the rock to Yi Mo, but his flying ship didn't come near Yi Mo, as though he knew Yi Mo was on alert. This was a minor detail, but Yi Mo noticed it and felt grateful. This was the mannerism of a true respectable Qianbei. Yi Mo took it, and a deep bone-chilling frost came. Yi Mo immediately knew this was no ordinary blue extreme rock. This was a top-quality one. He took it and said in confusion, Wanbei can't take this for nothing. Jie Feng stopped Yi Mo from giving it back. You saved my daughter before, so this is a token of appreciation. Yi Mo wasn't going to take it before he knew why, no matter how much he liked it. He wouldn't believe that Jie Feng would chase up just to thank him. Then Jie Feng said again, I heard people say there's a mortal curl flower in Lost Soul Ruins, but although people say it's a level 9 spirit herb, it's actually beyond level 9. My eldest daughter's spirit roots are damaged and she can't cultivate. Her body is also heavily damaged. Yi Mo immediately knew what Jie Feng meant. Even a truth realization state peak stage wasn't able to help a damaged body and spirit root damage to that degree. Clearly, immortal curl flower was the best choice. Jie Feng clearly wanted an immortal curl flower. Yi Mo had 4. And now that the woman took one, he still had 3. Yi Mo gave one to Jie Feng without hesitation. Jie Feng didn't expect to get an immortal curl flower this easily. His hands were shaking with excitement. He cusped the immortal curl flower, not knowing how to show his excitement. Even the 2 girls behind were very excited. Half a moment later, the green-robed girl pushed him, and he came back to his senses. He bowed to Yi Mo. Thank you, brother. Yi Mo, I'm very grateful. Yi Mo quickly waved his hand. Jie Qianbei, you're too polite. It's my honor that one spirit herb can save your daughter. Jie Feng took out a jade box and carefully put the immortal curl flower in before putting it away. Then he said to Yi Mo, Brother Yi, you saving my daughter, and your talent deserves a bow from me. You're the most genius cultivator I've ever seen. I believe your future is boundless. If you see my 2 daughters in the future, please help them a little. Yi Mo quickly said again, Thank you for your words, Qianbei. If Qianbei doesn't have anything else, Wanbei will be leaving too. Yi Mo knew Jie Feng was easy to talk to, but not the guys from Dragonting Palace. That's fine. 3 days ago I saw Dragonting King, and Lantre go east. I don't know what they're doing. Jie Feng nodded and said strangely. Jie Feng didn't know the exact story between them, but from how Yi Mo left Lost Soul Ruins and Tengxiong and them went in, as well as mentioning the person who went in, he reminded Yi Mo just in case. Jie Feng didn't know his little reminder made Yi Mo very grateful. At the same time, he had a different view on truth realization state cultivators. There was such distance between them, and yet Jie Feng could chase up who knows if Tengxiong and them could chase up too. Jie Feng nodded to Yi Mo. In that case, I won't waste your travel time. Do as you please, Brother Yi. Yi Mo nodded and suddenly took out 2 jade bottles. Island Lord Jie, Yi Mo admires your honest character. It's my honor to meet a friend like you. I do need to go immediately. I don't have anything good, but I can give these 2 bottles of pills for the 2 girls. Jie Feng nodded and didn't mind. Seeing this, Yi Mo saluted with his fists and took off in a blue beam. He couldn't stay indeed, as he would bring trouble to Jie Feng. Jie Feng was powerful, but he was just by himself. Seeing this, the green-robed girl looked at Jie Feng in confusion. Dad, you seem very polite to that cultivator, and gave him blue extreme rock to trade the immortal curl flower. The red-robed girl immediately said, Sister, didn't you hear Dad say he's the most prodigious cultivator? Of course Dad would take him seriously, but I'm happiest about Big Sister soon being able to get well. Jie Feng nodded. It's indeed due to Yi Mo that we got the immortal curl flower this time, and I'm serious about him being the most prodigious cultivator I've ever seen. He's not even 100, and he's cauldron-filling state level 2. Have you seen a human cultivator reach cauldron-filling state in 100 years? He's the first I've seen. Ha! The 2 girls were dazed, not expecting this. Dad, did you see wrong? If he could kill that at least disaster transformation state female cultivator, How can he be only cauldron filling state and not even 100 years old? The green-robed girl asked in disbelief. Jiefeng nodded with certainty. I'm certain he's not 100 years, and perhaps even younger than I imagined. The red-robed girl said, Yimo is lucky that he met Dad. If he met that old monster dragon Tin King, his bones would be devoured. Jiefeng thought for a moment and said, Yuning, you're right, but you can't underestimate him. Although we caught up to him, but if we fought, we might not be able to keep him. Hearing this, the two sisters' mouths were wide open in shock, and they looked at their father in disbelief. How could a mere cauldron filling state level 2 not be kept by their truth realization state, peak stage father? Jiefeng was also confused. He was wary of me but not scared. Clearly he had a way to get away. Otherwise, a cauldron filling state wouldn't be that calm seeing a truth realization state cultivator. Didn't you guys suspect that female cultivator's power? I can tell you for sure based on your description that her cultivation essence giant hand was truth realization state level. Yi Mo could escape from her and get spirit herbs. Clearly he killed that female cultivator already. Of course he isn't able to injure me, but I'm not sure I can keep him. By the way, Dad, when the left he gave some pills to us. Let's see what they are, the red-robed girl said. Yi Mo smiled. Yi Mo was just cauldron filling state and was too young. He wouldn't have many good things. Clearly, they were hollow spirit state level pills he gave to his daughters. He casually tipped them out, and when the two spirit chi emitting pills appeared on his hand, they were all dumbfounded. There were 2 break spirit pills in Jiefeng's hands. They were heaven grade level 5 pills. They were the pills hollow spirit state cultivators needed to break through to body condensation state and were special grade. At least a level 5 pill king was needed to concoct break spirit pill. Special grade ones might even need level 6 pill kings to concoct them. There were 2 break spirit pills in Jiefeng's hands. They were heaven grade level 5 pills. They were the pills hollow spirit state cultivators needed to break through to body condensation state and were special grade. At least a level 5 pill king was needed to concoct break spirit pill. Special grade ones might even need level 6 pill kings to concoct them. It was because of this that they were shocked. Jiefeng had break spirit pills, but not special grade ones. He got his top grade break spirit pills using many spirit herbs and a huge favor. He got them for his daughters, but now Yi Mo gave him 2 special grade ones. This is break spirit pill and special grade ones, the green-robed girl said in shock. This Yi Mo is so generous. Dad, let's see the other 2 pills. Yuning, the red-robed girl said. Jiefeng put the 2 pills away and was shook. Even he was eager to see what the other pills were. He opened the jade bottle and Yokue, and Yuning almost shrieked. Kun-filling pills. Even Jiefeng took a cold breath in. He had 2 top-grade kun-filling pills. These were heaven-grade level 7 pills. Top-grade ones were even harder to get. Even if you had kun carrot, you couldn't concoct the kun-filling pill. Level 7 pill kings were too rare. Even if you met one, he might not be willing to help you. Even 9-star Sex had a limited supply of kun-filling pills, and now he had 2 top-grade ones. How could he not be excited? He thought Yi Mo would be shocked by his generosity. With a blue extreme rock. It was rare, but he wasn't going to lower himself to take immortal curl flower from Yi Mo for free. After he got the immortal curl flower, he no longer thought that way, as immortal curl flower was much more precious than blue extreme rock. Now that he looked at the 4 pills, he knew who was truly generous. He felt guilty of what he thought before. When he gave the blue extreme rock, he might have had a little condescending manner, or even a bragging intention. But Yi Mo didn't show off at all, as he believed his daughters truly needed these pills. Jiefeng was embarrassed by Yi Mo's generosity and magnanimity. At this moment, Yukei and Yuning still hadn't woke up from their shock. Even though their father was truth realization state peak stage, it was hard for him to get 2 top-grade kun-filling pills. With their talent, They would have 90% chance of reaching cauldron filling state with these 2 pills. Dad, this EMO is too generous. He even gave top-grade Kuan filling pills. Who is he? He has such high-level pills, Yukoi said in shock. Yuning nodded and suddenly asked in confusion, Dad, why is your face a little red? Jie Feng smiled, awkwardly. I thought I was being generous, but compared to Brother Yi Mo, I'm too stingy. He put away the pills and sighed. He's truly a genius. I've never seen a genius like him. This is unbelievable. Really? Dad, just how long are you going to praise the EMO for? Perhaps he got a large pile of Kuan-filling pills in the Lost Soul Ruins, Yuning murmured. Jie Feng said with a straight face. I'm saying this because he's not only a formation Grand Master, but also a level 7 pill king. What? How is that possible? The 2 sisters asked simultaneously. Jie Feng waved the pills in his hand. These pills were made less than 1 month ago. Clearly he didn't get this from some ruin. He made it himself. Plus, I said the formations in the Lost Soul Ruins were tampered with. Yi Mo was the first to go in, so clearly he did it. Obviously, he's a formation Grand Master, and I'm sure he has other means. The 2 nodded. If it was really as Dad said, then Yi Mo was a prodigy amongst prodigies. People like him have a boundless future. Luckily, we connected with him before, and he has a good impression of us, or he wouldn't give such pills. If you guys reach higher cultivation states and see him, it would only benefit you, Jie Feng said. Then he sighed. If it wasn't that he wasn't interested in you, too, I also want to chase him up to make him my son-in-law. Hearing this, the big sister Yukui looked down in embarrassment, but the younger sister Yuning said, Sister, and I can be considered beautiful in this region. Dad, why are your words so crushing? How do you know he isn't into us? Maybe he was, but he's too shy to say it. So that means you're into him? Jie Feng asked. Yuning immediately said, I'm just saying. Jie Feng patted Yuning's head. You 3 sisters are all very beautiful girls and my pride, but as a father I won't lie to you. He looks at you and your sister very calmly. Clearly he's not interested in you too. I won't be wrong about this. If he can stay at Chu In Island for a while, you 2 might have a chance. Dad, then call him to Inju Island. Yuning didn't think much and said. Jie Feng knew this didn't mean his daughter was into Mo, but he didn't mind and shook his head. I understand why Mo was running off in a rush. Why? Yuning asked. He's hiding from Tung Xiong and them. Jie Feng sneered. Lan Shirwei said he didn't want to go into the Lost Soul Ruins. I was suspicious. He's not someone scared of death. If there was no danger in Lost Soul Ruins, then what could be more important than getting level 9 spirit herbs? Now that Yi Mo appeared, I understand why. He's a level 7 pill king. He must know Yi Mo is a level 7 pill king, and that's why he left to catch Yi Mo. That person they said went in the Lost Soul Ruins must be Yi Mo. But this Yi Mo isn't simple either. He drew them to the wrong direction. No wonder he's so young and dares to go into the Lost Soul Ruins. He's indeed brilliant. Then why didn't Dragon Tung King go at first? Yuning asked. Jie Feng shook his head. I don't know that very well, but later Dragon Tung King went east the same direction as Lan Shirwei. Now, it's obvious he went for Yi Mo too. Jie Feng suddenly said, We should help Yi Mo. They might come towards our direction if they don't find Yi Mo in the east. It's not a big possibility for them to catch Yi Mo, but we should still help him. How do we help? Yuning asked again. Leave some traces and draw them to the southeast side, Jie Feng said. Yi Mo didn't expect his generosity earned Jie Feng's good impression and such outcomes. Lan Shirwei was very annoyed. He chased for half a day, and it ended up to be a cultivator's soul. Even if he didn't chase it, it would disappear soon. He gave up level 9 spirit herbs to chase this soul. He really didn't understand how Yi Mo took off his spirit sense mark and put it on a soul, and led it this far. Could Yi Mo control souls too? He thought that he needed to go back and quickly meet up with Ting Xiong. If Yemo was in the Lost Soul ruins, he would be losing out big. But before he left, Ting Xiong already appeared before him. 15 days later, when Jie Feng took his 2 daughters back to Yinju Island, he met Ting Xiong and Lan Chirui, who hurried over. 15 days later, when Jie Feng took his 2 daughters back to Yinju Island, he met Ting Xiong and Lan Chirui, who hurried over. The two saw it was just Jie Feng and his 2 daughters together and were stunned. They traced along the marks for half a month and didn't see Yemo at all. Island Lord Jie, what a coincidence. Lan Chirui laughed awkwardly. Ting Xiong said, yeah, what a coincidence. Island leader Jie is very free now, and he wanders around aimlessly. Ha ha, everyone knows. Jie Feng immediately knew what Ting Xiong meant. He was saying that he left many marks on his way and led the 2 here, but he pretended he didn't understand what the 2 were saying. He frowned. What do you mean, Ting Dragon King? Is this entire Heartless Sea your Dragon Ting Palace? Can I not take my daughter around for a walk? Lan Chirui didn't want the 2 to argue, so he quickly said, of course, please continue. We'll be going. Then he pulled away Ting Xiong. He knew Jie Feng's power. Although Ting Xiong was Truth Realization State Peak Stage, and he was Truth Realization State Level 9, they might really not be a match for Jie Feng, even if they attacked together. Ting Xiong knew there was nothing he could do to Jie Feng, so he could only turn away. Seeing the 2 leave, Jie Feng sneered. Let's go, we can go back to the island. You can stay on the island and cultivate. Don't run around everywhere. Yes, Yu Kuei and Yu Ning said dejectedly. After they left, for a long while, Ting Xiong sneered. Brother Lan, don't you feel strange? Since when did Jie Feng have the free time to roam around with his daughters for half a month? Lan Chirui said calmly. So what if you knew he helped Yemo get away? Yemo isn't here. We can't fight with him for no reason. But we'll go visit that Yinju Island one day. Ting Xiong nodded, showing he knew what Lan Chirui meant. They would go look for trouble with Jie Feng in the future, but now it was urgent to capture Yemo first. Lan Chirui paused and said that Yemo would go find your son Ting Yi. Do you not even know where your son is? Is he not going to go back to your palace? Ting Xiong said in annoyance. It's because he won't be coming back that I'm annoyed. That bastard told his mother he would be going out for an adventure. Who knows where they will be going? Lan Chirui nodded. I think they might go to the 3 Seas. Why don't we go there? Ting Xiong nodded, and the 2 changed direction. Little did they know they guessed the right direction, as Yemo was going towards the 3 Seas. Half a month later, Yemo had calmed down and took out Ji Ling's essence spirit and woke him up. Ji Ling saw the immortal curl flower and said in shock, You really got the immortal curl flower? Ji Ling immediately said in gratitude, Yemo, thank you. Yemo laughed. I was lucky that I got out whole this time. Ji Qianbei, your essence spirit has been exposed for too long. You need to recover your body or the danger is too high. Ji Ling answered, Just give me immortal curl flower and the yellow rock and set up a spirit gathering formation for me. I need 2 months to rebuild my body. Yemo asked in shock. Ji Qianbei, is your body hidden in that rock? Ji Ling nodded. Yes, after that battle. Everyone retreated and no one touched my body, so I sealed myself in my own formation. I didn't tell you, as I didn't want you to be worried. Yemo knew what Ji Ling meant. If Yemo knew Ji Ling's body was still there, he would find spirit herb to preserve the body. That wouldn't be easier than finding the immortal curl flower. But now that Ji Ling had the immortal curl flower, after he rebuilt his body, his power wouldn't drop at all, and his talent would increase quite a bit. Yemo couldn't help being angry. Pill City had one truth realization state cultivator, and when he left, the Infinity Sect wouldn't stop him. Yet he didn't take Ji Ling's body and preserve it. Yemo felt assured now and gave the 2 things to Ji Ling. Then he set up a spirit gathering formation and even took out a spirit marrow pond for him. After this, Yi Mo set up a stealth restriction and defense formation in his room before letting Ji Ling rebuild his body while he manned Blue Moon. A month later, Yi Mo felt the spirit chi waves inside and knew it was the crucial moment for Ji Ling rebuilding his body and became even more careful. The second month was about to pass, and Yi Mo watched Ji Ling constantly. He was only about 1 month from the rendezvous point. A few days passed, and Ji Ling still didn't come out. Yi Mo was beginning to worry, as Ji Ling said he would take 2 months at most, but now it was 2 months and 3 days. Just when Yi Mo wanted to check on Ji Ling's progress, a light flew rapidly towards him. Yi Mo stopped immediately. In a blink of an eye, it passed Blue Moon. Yi Mo recognized who it was, and then, immediately it flew back. Yi Mo's eyes went cold, and Zisu appeared. Blue Moon had to stop as another light flew over. The woman who turned back was Meng Hanan. She was covered in blood and heavily injured. She didn't expect to meet Yi Mo here, and said desperately, "I have no ill will for you. It's so great you're fine. May I ask where my disciple Meng Qi is now?" Before Yi Mo could reply, the other dashing light stopped in front of Blue Moon. It was a disaster transformation state level 4. The man saw Yi Mo and dazed before laughing in surprise and joy. "It's you, Yi Mo. This is all too easy." He gave up Meng Hanan and reached for Yi Mo. Yi Mo sneered and released Zisu. This disaster transformation state level 4 was from the Tong High Cult. He could tell from the clothes. Instantly, Zisu clashed with the giant hand. Blood shot out, and the man backed off with fury and anger. He underestimated Yi Mo and lost 2 fingers to a body condensation state cultivator. But then he saw clearly Yi Mo, who was only body condensation state at the Chu 18 discs, was now cauldron filling state level 2. Yi Mo didn't leave him time to recover. Zisu swept over again. Illusion Cloud Domain Shattering Strike. This was Yi Mo's Illusion Cloud 8th strike. This was the first time he used it after creating it. Yi Mo didn't dare to hold back against this disaster transformation state master, and used all his might. Meng Hanan looked at Yi Mo in shock. She didn't expect Yi Mo to go from body condensation state level 7 to cauldron filling state level 2 in a few months' time. This was inhuman speed. She suddenly thought of the words Yi Mo said to Yong Lanyi. She realized that it wasn't Yi Mo sucking up to Yong Lanyi, but telling him that he would be back for revenge. According to this progress, Yi Mo wouldn't need much time to reach truth realization state at all. Meng Hanan subconsciously shivered. Yi Mo was only cauldron filling state level 2 and could take on this disaster transformation state level 4 hunting her. If he reached truth realization state, wouldn't Yong Lanyi only be able to wait for death? Such an absurd cultivator was Meng Hanan's only thought. Not only Yi Mo's cultivation speed, but also his battle power was insane. That disaster transformation state level 4 cultivator saw. He got injured in his overconfidence, but this cauldron filling state level 2 dared to attack him again. He was immediately furious. That disaster transformation state level 4 cultivator saw. He got injured in his overconfidence, but this cauldron filling state level 2 dared to attack him again. He was immediately furious. He raised his hand, and a dark ring appeared in his hand. Just when Zisu hacked over, he released his dark ring. It immediately expanded in the air into a 10-meter-long dark ring. Inside, the ring was gloomy dark like the netherworld. Meng Hanan recovered from her shock of seeing Yi Mo's drastic increase in cultivation level and called hurriedly, "That's Abyssal Prison Ring. Don't let him catch you inside. It's like hell inside. Once you go in, you can't come out." Meng Hanan had suffered greatly in this terrifying dark ring. She would have long been caught if she didn't have a few secret techniques. The disaster transformation state snarled. "Too late. A mere cauldron filling state level 2 dares to be cocky in front of me." In that instant, Yi Mo and that disaster transformation state cultivator disappeared. There was only a huge dark ring floating above the heartless sea. Meng Hanan immediately wanted to go up and help, but before she could, she saw a purple beam flash out from the dark mist. At the start, there was only one, but instantly, the purple rays expanded, turning into a purple sun rising up from the black mist. Thud, the obscurity of the dark ring disappeared while Yi Mo's figure appeared in the middle of the purple. As the purple expanded, his figure also became clearer. Meng Hanan was dazed. Even though she was disaster transformation state level 2, if she was caught by it, she wouldn't be able to break free. Yi Mo was only cauldron filling state. How did he break free? Before she spoke, she heard that Tong High Cult Cultivator say in shock, "Your domain is in early completion and you molded it into your sword technique." A cauldron filling state primary stage cultivator might know some little things about domain, but he wouldn't be able to control much. But he found that Yi Mo's sword technique not only had a clear control of domain, but was also molded together. His abyssal prison ring was also domain control, but he couldn't get the upper hand in domain control at all. At the same time Yi Mo broke this cultivator's domain, he realized that he could only break free but not kill him. The difference in power wasn't something a domain could make up for. But Yi Mo had made up his mind to kill this disaster transformation state cultivator. He wanted to kill Tong, high cult cultivators the most. Even if he couldn't kill Yonglani now, it was good to kill a few of his dogs. So when Yi Mo broke free from the abyssal prison domain, he called out Shadowless and used illusion cloud formation kill strike. He needed to create an opportunity for Shadowless, so he had to trap this cultivator, even if it was just for 1 second. Then Yi Mo followed up with a few spirit sense strikes, but he was disappointed to find that even so, he wasn't able to trap that cultivator for a second. His abyssal prison ring was too powerful. Not only did it instantly crush Yi Mo's purple sword rays, but also stopped Yi Mo's formation kill strike from forming while blocking his spirit sense blades. The difference in power was too great. It was really hard to kill this disaster transformation state level 4. Meanwhile, the disaster transformation state cultivator was feeling more and more shocked. He felt Yi Mo had endless means, and he noticed his spirit sense hurting. So he used Abyssal Prison Ring to protect himself without hesitation. A cauldron-filling state level 2 was able to force a stalemate with him. He didn't dare to imagine this. His broken fingers weren't reconnected, as he didn't have the time to do so. He didn't underestimate Yi Mo at all now. He knew that if he did, he would be killed here. The disaster transformation state cultivator released another sword magic artifact. This sword had 4 blades and was a middle-grade cultivation artifact. Yi Mo felt the pressure from that cultivation artifact and was more desperate. He was scared that Meng Hanan would use this opportunity to go on a blue moon. Ji Ling was still rebuilding his body. If he was interrupted, the consequences would be dire. Luckily, this didn't happen. Meng Hanan was also very shocked seeing this stalemate. She was sure that although she was disaster transformation state level 2, she was no match for Yi Mo. Even her domain wasn't in initial completion. Meng Hanan immediately attacked with a flying sword to help Yi Mo. This made Yi Mo breathe easier. With her help, he could kill this man for sure. He didn't even release his octagonal cauldron like he planned before. As soon as Meng Hanan came up, the disaster transformation state level 4's face changed. Yi Mo saw fear in his eyes. He wanted to run. How could Yi Mo let him escape? He used illusion cloud, Hua, mountain strike. A long purple ray swept over. Even Meng Hanan felt the brilliance of it, but she instantly woke up. This was the perfect opportunity. Her flying sword also raised dense sword light sweeping at the disaster transformation state level 4. Seeing this, the Tong High Cult Cultivator's heart shook. He had a bad feeling, and before he could think, he wanted to use the Abyssal Prison Ring to block this magnificent purple ray. Clank, the purple ray clashed with the ring, activating more purple sword rays. These sword rays didn't span out, but instead formed a formation, wanting to trap the disaster transformation state cultivator and his ring. The disaster transformation state cultivator grunted, and before he could leave, Menghanan's sword light came over. He was shook and spat a mouthful of blood before wanting to escape, but how could Yemo let him? He used Purple Eye Soul Sever again while letting Shadowless attack at the same time. His sword was still blocking Menghanan's sword light while the ring was covered by the purple sword rays. He couldn't block Yemo's spirit sense strikes anymore. It wasn't enough to kill him, but the spirit sense blades sunk his sea of consciousness into a brief pause. He felt his sea of consciousness ache while Shadowless charged into his meridians. The disaster transformation state cursed, and before he could envelop Shadowless, Yemo's purple sword rays hacked out. Menghanan saw this and stopped attacking. That extremely vibrant and flashy purple ray dazed her. She saw the disaster transformation state cultivator in despair, and her heart went a little cold. Although she helped Yemo, she knew she only draw a little portion of the cultivator's attention. The disaster transformation state saw the purple ray come, but he couldn't call back his ring. He was screaming in his heart, "Just give me 1 second. Even half a second would be good." However, the purple ray already came down on his head. The disaster transformation state glared hatefully at Yemo and escaped in essence spirit form. Yemo looked at this and didn't move. He knew Shadowless wasn't going to let it go. Indeed, Shadowless dashed in a black line and devoured the essence spirit clean. At this moment, a bloody mist exploded above the Heartless Sea, and Yemo took back the ring and a storage ring before landing on Blue Moon. Shadowless spun around Yemo and disappeared on him. Menghanan looked dazedly at Yemo, your cauldron-filling state primary stage, but you killed disaster transformation state middle stage Yong Yen. Oh, he's called Yong Yen? Yemo asked. Menghanan nodded. Yes, he's Yong Lani's niece. If it wasn't that he wanted me alive, I would have been long dead. Even if I die, I wouldn't live with someone like him. Yemo sneered. Yeah, you status as royal, and you can't live with other people. But your disciple has a peasant life, and she can marry anyone. Menghanan looked down in guilt. I owe Chi-Chi. Whether you believe it or not, I did use you, but I didn't use Chi-Chi. I left the spirit sense mark on because I was worried something would happen to her. Yemo waved his hand in contempt. I don't want to talk to you, but I won't kill you. Leave. Menghanan laughed at herself. Leave? Where can I go? The Sea Cultivator Alliance is about to be named Yong. Where can I go? Yong Lani will only blame Yong Yan's death on me. Even if I run to South Peace State, he won't let me go. Menghanan laughed at herself. Leave? Where can I go? The Sea Cultivator Alliance is about to be named Yong. Where can I go? Yong Lani will only blame Yong Yan's death on me. Even if I run to South Peace State, he won't let me go. Sea Cultivator Alliance belongs to Tong High Sect now. Yemo asked in confusion. Menghanan said sadly, the reason I could stand my ground in the Sea Cultivator Alliance was because of the other Vice Alliance leader, Taiha. But this time, there were a lot of spirit herbs on the Fengshu Island. The Tong High Sect got the least, and Yong Lani was greedy. He didn't dare to start trouble with Songhai Palace, so he came to the Sea Cultivator Alliance. Wang Tsang doesn't have the temperament of an alliance leader at all, and is now Yong Lani's dog. Wang Tsang knew Taiha, and I wouldn't agree. So before Taiha finished solitary cultivation, he suddenly attacked our power. Taiha was killed by their ambush, and I was hunted out. Meng Qi is my disciple. I left a spirit sense mark on her because I was afraid of something happening to her. The Three Seas power factions are complicated. Her hollow spirit state power is too low. If she was in danger, I would know at any time. Yemo sneered. So that meant marrying her to Yong Wuzi was out of goodwill too? Meng Hanan said in guilt. Although I agreed to Yong Lani's proposal, I never wanted to marry Chi-Chi to Yong Wuzi, but I couldn't resist at the time. I wanted to wait for Brother Tai to finish solitary cultivation, and let him say that Chi-Chi was in solitary cultivation. So what if Yong Lani is forcefully going to take her away? What are you going to do? Yi Emo asked her coldly. Meng Hanan said melancholically, I can't protect her. Yi Emo said in derision, since you can't protect her, why won't you let her go? Meng Hanan looked up and said calmly, because she still has a sliver of chance on the island. You think she can live if I let her go? Even if I can't protect her, she would be able to stay alive if she married to Yong Wuzi. If I let her leave Ling Island and go out into the heartless sea, I'm sure she won't survive for 3 months. Tragic things will happen to her. You think everyone is as powerful as you? Yi Emo was lost for words. He felt Meng Hanan was right. In that situation, there was no other way but to marry her to Yong Wuzi. As for escaping to South Peace State, Meng Qi didn't have an extreme-grade flying cultivation artifact. Even if she had a low-grade flying cultivation artifact, how could she run from the Tonghai sect? Even if she got out, would she be able to escape all those spirit beasts? Thinking about this, his disgust for Meng Hanan lowered a little. As for her tricking him, it was just a deal. He wasn't close to Meng Hanan. He didn't need to waste time on that. Meng Hanan asked again, where did Chi-Chi go? Yi Emo replied, she went back to her home. I sent her off. She's very safe. Yi Emo breathed easy, believing Yi Emo. She fell silent for a while before saying, Yi Emo, I know you're no ordinary person. You were able to escape through Chu 18 discs, meaning you're at least a level 8 formation grandmaster. I saw you wrongly before. I'll make a deal with you. I'll come with you to search for the immortal curl flower, regardless of life and death. I just want you to take me to leave Heartless Sea. She looked at Yi Mo's extreme-grade flying cultivation artifact, clearly hoping it would take her to leave Heartless Sea. Without it, even with her disaster transformation state power, she might die in the Heartless Sea. Not everyone was as lucky as Bien Phengta. Yi Emo smiled faintly. He really didn't like this Meng Hanan's character. And he already got immortal curl flower. He didn't need her. Meng Hanan continued. I didn't tell you clearly before, the place with immortal curl flower is Lost Soul Ruins. I didn't go in when I went there because it was too dangerous, but now that I have nowhere to go, if you're willing to take me to any state, I can help you. Yi Emo realized that the reason she said this was because she didn't know how dangerous the Lost Soul Ruins was at all. But from another perspective, she indeed had nowhere to go. Yi Emo thought, and wanted to point her to South Peace State. If she was careful, she would be able to reach there. Ha ha! Just when Yi Emo wanted to talk, he heard a loud laugh. Yi Emo rejoiced. He immediately knew Ji Ling had finished reconstructing his body. He turned around and saw Ji Ling walk out happily. Ji Qianbei, you've succeeded. Yi Emo called out in surprise and joy. Ji Ling laughed. Brother Yi Emo, I owe you big time. I thought my cultivation level would stop at disaster transformation state in this life. But now, because of your immortal curl flower, I can progress one step. Ha ha! Yi Emo said, if it wasn't for me, how could you be in that state? Alliance leader Meng, why are you here? Ji Ling saw Meng Hanan and asked. Meng Hanan said in surprise and joy, it really is you, Ji Qianbei. How are you? If Ji Ling was here, why didn't he appear when Yi Emo was fighting that disaster transformation state level 4? Ji Ling said, Come here. Why you standing outside? Meng Hanan glanced at Yi Emo, and before she said anything, Yi Emo quickly said, Alliance leader Meng, please get on. Ji Ling didn't know the story between the two, but clearly he was happy to see Meng Hanan. Ji Ling asked immediately, how is Brother Lu lately? Meng Hanan bowed and said sadly, Brother Lu is gone. It's Wang Song who controls the Sea Cultivator Alliance now, and he joined the Tonghai cult. I have nowhere to go now. I wanted to find a big state to go, but I didn't expect to meet Qianbei here. How is that possible? Brother Lu is very powerful. How can he suddenly die? Jiling asked. Meng Hanan replied. He died 100 years ago. He was ambushed in the Heartless Sea and wasn't able to make it out. After that, Wang Tsang became alliance leader, Tai Ha and I became vice alliance leaders. Ji Ling sighed. Moments later, Ji Ling continued. Alliance leader Meng, when I came to Ling Island, you and Brother Lu were very welcoming. So, you don't need to be too polite here. Don't worry, if you have nowhere to go, you can come with us. Brother Yimo is very nice, don't worry. Meng Hanan breathed easy. Thank you, Ji Qianbei. Then she said to Yi Mo, Thank you, Marshal Brother Yi. Please don't mind what I did on Chi-Chi's account. Since Ji Ling agreed, Yi Mo wasn't going to make him lose face, so he quickly said, Sister Meng, you're too polite. It's my honor you can come aboard Blue Moon. But then she thought of what Ji Ling said and looked at him in shock. Ji Qianbei, you said Marshal Brother Yi got you a mortal curl flower? He went to the Lost Soul ruins and came back out alive. Ji Ling nodded. If it wasn't for Brother Yi, my life would be long gone. It's my luck that I was able to meet Brother Yimo. You're right, he got the immortal curl flower from the Lost Soul ruins. I wanted to ask about it as well. Yimo recounted what he saw inside the Lost Soul ruins simply. Hearing the story of Feng Chun and Miao Huijian, the two were speechless. Yimo didn't want to keep talking about this. He looked at Ji Ling, Ji Qianbei. I heard that you can reach higher cultivation levels after using the immortal curl flower. Is that true? Ji Ling nodded. That's right. I'm disaster transformation state peak stage peak now. If I have truth spirit pill or truth carrot pill, I can reach truth realization state. Before Yimo replied, he laughed. I'm not worried about that. You're level 7 pill king. It won't take more than a few years for you to be able to concoct the truth spirit pill. Meng Hanan heard this and looked at Yimo in shock before saying in a daze, You're a level 7 pill king? Ji Ling looked at Meng Hanan and asked, You know Yimo, but you don't know he's a level 7 pill king? Ji Ling looked at Meng Hanan and asked, You know Yimo, but you don't know he's a level 7 pill king. Yimo quickly told how he knew Meng Hanan. Meng Hanan listened while thinking, not even the 3 Cs had a level 7 pill king. The highest was a level 5 pill king. Meng Hanan was very smart and knew how to talk. Plus, she wanted to follow Yimo, so she cared more about what she said. After talking for a while, Yimo's view of her changed a little again. The more Meng Hanan knew about Yimo, the more she was shocked. She just knew that Yimo got first place in the highest caliber Pill King tournament in South Peace State and dared to go against the 9-star sects, Lightning Cloud Sect and Infinity Sect. He even set up MOU City, and what shook her more was that there were level 7 or above Pill Kings there. One of them was a level 8 Pill King. At this moment, she realized Yonglani was really nothing compared to Yimo. The Tonghai sect only had 3 truth realization state cultivators, at most comparable to a middle-class 9-star sect. Yimo wasn't even afraid of top-class 9-star sects, much less a Tonghai sect. Yonglani was only in the Heartless Sea. If he went to South Peace State, he wouldn't dare to challenge MOU City. Knowing that Yimo was going to North Far State, Meng Hanan had made up her mind that she was going to go with Yimo no matter what. Such a young level 7 pill king, clearly he could reach higher levels in the future. It was already quite something that Ji Ling looked at Yimo so favorably. Plus, there was a level 8 pill king in MOU City. If she didn't grasp this opportunity, she would be an idiot. Meng Hanan was experienced in life, and although she hadn't been with Yimo for long, she could tell Yimo took relationships and emotions seriously, or he wouldn't help Meng Qi get away. Although she didn't know how Meng Qi got away, Yimo was a formation grandmaster. So clearly, there were means she couldn't imagine. It was because she knew Yimo's character that she was certain as long as she didn't betray Yimo and helped him wholeheartedly, she would get his recognition one day. Ji Qianbei, are you going back to South Peace State or North Far State now? Yimo asked without considering what Meng Hanan thought. If Ji Ling was to go back to South Peace State, great, let him take Meng Hanan away. If he was going to North Far State, it was also good, as they could discuss formations together. With a disaster transformation state peak stage cultivator, he was much safer on the way. Ji Ling smiled. I was troubled that we didn't have time to discuss formations. I didn't expect your formation skills to have reached that of a level 9 Grandmaster. We can talk about it on the way, so I'll go North Far State as well. Yimo was also very happy hearing this. However, Meng Hanan was the happiest hearing this. How could she not know Yimo didn't really like her? If Ji Ling was going to South Peace State, she would have to follow. Then she wouldn't be able to stay with Yimo. 2 days later, Ji Ling, who was discussing formations with Yimo, suddenly looked north and said, there's another middle grade flying cultivation artifact with 2 people on it. They seem to be going the same direction. Yimo, are those your friends? Yimo's spirit sense was powerful, but not as powerful as Ji Ling's, so he couldn't see. However, he was almost certain it was Bien Feng Ta and Teng Yi. He immediately controlled Blue Moon to chase up, and indeed, he saw the 2. The 2 also noticed Yimo and moved their flying cultivation artifact over. The 3 were very happy to see each other. Yimo then introduced Ji Ling and Meng Hanan. The 5 soon got to know each other well. Blue Moon changed directions to fly towards North Far State. When Bien Feng Ta and Teng Yi learned that Yimo got Immortal Curl Flower from the Lost Soul Ruins and cured Ji Ling, they were also shocked. It seemed to them that there was nothing Yimo couldn't do. Blue Moon went faster and faster, and the 5 people got closer. Yimo didn't expect, when he left South Peace State alone, that he would have a 5-man squad in less than a year. At this moment, on the island Yimo and Bien Feng Ta arranged to meet, there were 5 Truth Realization State cultivators. If Yimo was here, he would recognize them to be the 5 from the Dragon Tongue Palace. If Yimo didn't meet Bien Feng Ta and them on the way, they would have ran right into their hands. Sometimes the difference between life and death was just that final line apart. The reason they came here was because they found marks of Yimo's formation. They were going to the 3 Seas, so they passed here and came down to check. Teng Yi was no formation master, but he could tell the remnants here made by the same person as the ones he saw in the Lost Soul Ruins. The other people could tell as well. It seems Yimo did indeed come from the 3 Seas, but will he go back? Lan Chirwei asked. Teng Xiong nodded. Indeed, if I'm not wrong, Yimo will go back to the 3 Seas. Perhaps he is behind us. I think we should send 2 people to guard here, and the remaining 3 should go to the 3 Seas. If Yimo goes to the 3 Seas, he will have to pass by here. No matter who finds Yimo, we must control him together. The people all agreed, and eventually Gong, Zhe, and Huang Qi stayed behind. South Peace State, Pill City. Pill City was still the same Pill City, but it wasn't as prosperous as before. But as the only 10-star city, there were still lots of cultivators gathered here. At one Pill King estate, there was a youth who was only nascent soul state level 2, and a gray-robed cultivator sitting opposite each other. It was Mo Yushin and Zhao Shuntian. Yimo had conflict with the Pill City and wasn't going to come back, so Changshan Pill King brought Mo Yushin back here. Zhao Shuntian sighed. Even this didn't do anything to that. Yimo, don't go out walking around anymore. He's a level 7 Pill King and has Yu Chi Chao and Shen Guanqing helping him. He's getting stronger and stronger. If you want revenge, you need to hurry up and get stronger. I heard that Yimo is already body condensation state. The difference between you 2 is too great. Mo Yushin nodded hatefully. Master, I know. If it wasn't for you this time, I would have been killed by him, but my power is too low right now. I can't get revenge. From today onwards, I will cultivate very hard." Zhao Shuntian nodded. "Your surname is also Yi, and you look very similar to him. I even suspect that you two might be related." Mo Yushin said. "So what if he's related to me? I will kill him for sure. I have enmity deep as the sea with him. If I can't kill him, my Tao heart can't be fulfilled, Master." Zhao Shuntian nodded. "I'm only going to help one of you, even if that Yi Mo is Yi Kai's descendant. It's the same. I haven't seen your father Yi Kai, but since I agreed with your grandpa, Yi Wusua, you don't need to worry. I will treat any of his descendant who comes to me with the authenticating object as my own kin." Mo Yushin said, "I've never seen my father as well. I heard my mother say he left when I was very young to look for grandpa. Master, I've heard that Yi Mo came from North Far State. Does he have family there?" Zhao Shuntian looked at Mo Yushin and said plainly, "I know what you mean, but regardless, don't think of using the teleportation formation to North Far State. Without an appropriate reason, even the Grand City, Lord of Pill City, wouldn't be able to use that to get there." Zhao Shuntian looked at Mo Yushin and said plainly, "I know what you mean, but regardless, don't think of using the teleportation formation to North Far State. Without an appropriate reason, even the Grand City Lord of Pill City wouldn't be able to use that to get there." As though feeling his tone was too serious, he said, "Your only mission now is to cultivate. Perhaps your grandpa Yi Wusua has ascended to the immortal realm. Even if you can't kill Yi Mo in the cultivation realm, as long as you can ascend to immortal realm, you can kill him there. Plus, you're in the Pill City. Do you not know the power of the Pill City? Your cultivation resources will only be better than Yi Mo's." "Yes, Master," Mo Yushin agreed, though still wanting to say something. Zhao Shuntian waved his hand. "You don't need to say it. I know what you mean. Don't think about that, Xiao Shirin, now. When your power is high, it's not a problem at all." In the air above the deep region of the Heartless Sea, Blue Moon dashed past rapidly. This was the 5th month they had met, and during this time, Yi Mo was always in solitary cultivation. Other than Bian Fengta and Teng Yi, who discussed their cultivation experiences, Jiling also started solitary cultivation to consolidate his power. As for Meng Hanan, she often went into solitary cultivation after Yi Mo. She would come out and talk with Bian Fengta and Teng Yi occasionally. In the Golden Page world, Yi Mo was cauldron filling state level 4 peak now. He stopped cultivation for now and started on forgery and pill concoction. Yi Mo knew his time was short even with the time formation disc. The reason he was concocting pills was because he wanted to reach level 9 Pill King as quickly as possible to concoct the True Spirit Pill for Jiling. As for forgery, it was Biksu he got large amounts of forgery materials on Ling Island. Time went by quickly, and 2 months later, Yi Mo still didn't ease up. When he used up the ordinary level 7 and level 8 spirit herbs as well as those forgery materials, he began cultivation again. After the 11th month, Yi Mo broke through to cauldron filling state level 6 and stopped his cultivation. He had to stop as the extreme grade spirit range he got from the Chu 18 discs had disappeared after he and the time formation disc devoured it like crazy. Other than this, Yi Mo still had a half-extreme grade spirit range and the Herb King spirit range, as well as the extreme grade spirit range from Ice God Forbidden Grounds. Yi Mo buried the low-grade spirit range below the Golden Page world, as it wasn't much use to Yi Mo now. The longer he used the time formation disc, the higher the amount of spirit chi he used up also multiplied, but he couldn't stop mid-cultivation. Yi Mo also found that if he used an extreme grade spirit range to provide spirit chi for the time formation disc, it would waste up to 90% of the spirit chi, no matter how well he set up his direct spirit chi formation. It was useless. This meant that the best thing to power the time formation disk were spirit stones or higher spirit sources. They had to be put directly into the time formation disk. Otherwise, using a formation to redirect it would cause waste. Yi Mo left the Golden Page world and sighed. If he couldn't find more extreme grade spirit ranges, it would be hard for him to progress into disaster transformation state rapidly. He couldn't touch any of the spirit ranges he had now. That half-extreme grade spirit range would at most let him reach cauldron filling state level 7. He might as well bury it under Mo, U City. As soon as Yi Mo came out, Meng Hanan came out too. She and the rest of the people saw Yi Mo was already cauldron filling state level 6 and were speechless. In just a year, Yi Mo went from cauldron filling state level 2 to level 6. What speed was this? Yi Mo, you broke through again? How are we going to live? Tung Yi felt his confidence was struck. Bien Feng Ta smiled. Yi Mo already gave us so many cauldron essence pills. Are you scared you can't reach disaster transformation state? I'm already cauldron filling state level 8 peak. I've never cultivated so fast before. Yi Mo told them with a sigh. My cultivation speed will be slowing down now. The three thought Yi Mo was being humble and didn't mind. Blue Moon sped away, while the four discussed about cultivation and benefited each other quite a lot. The other three didn't care much about some of Yi Mo's cultivation experience at first, but as questions were being brought up, they were shocked to realize that no matter what question it was, Yi Mo could easily provide an answer, despite him having the lowest cultivation level of them. Luckily, they were used to Yi Mo's absurd talent and began to accept this fast. They would ask Yi Mo about things they didn't know, and he answered them all. This was the power of the three-birth chant. Soon, 3 days passed again. Just when they were talking about forgery, Bien Feng Ta took out his middle-grade flying cultivation artifact to show off. The difference between low-grade and middle-grade was hundreds of times in price. Tung Yi said sourly, Yi Mo has extreme grade flying cultivation artifact, but I don't see him showing off. You only have a middle-grade flying cultivation artifact. However, he was the only one with a low-grade flying cultivation artifact. Bien Feng Ta smiled. Let's not compare with Yi Mo. He's not normal. But Tung, don't be jealous. Do you know how hard it was for me to get this? I searched more than 100 years just for the materials and used half of that time to ask this very famous level 8 forgery grandmaster to forge it for me. Tung, I must say, there aren't a lot of forgery masters amongst beast cultivators. You've probably never even seen a level 8 forgery grandmaster. Tung Yi was lost for words, but he couldn't argue. Yi Mo knew that Bien Feng Ta had the right to brag. His middle-grade flying cultivation artifact was the top-notch in middle grade. Meng Hanan looked at Bien Feng Ta and suddenly smiled at Yi Mo. Martial brother Yi, you're probably going to become a forgery grandmaster soon, right? Meng Hanan knew Yi Mo was a level 9 forgery great master, but there was a huge gap between forgery great master and forgery grandmaster. Yi Mo smiled. That's right. I've just reached forgery grandmaster. I can only forge some low-quality, low-grade cultivation artifacts. In his 11 years of solitary cultivation in the time formation disk, he used all the forgery materials he had, and now his storage ring was filled with extreme grade spirit artifacts and low-grade cultivation artifacts. Some low-grade cultivation artifacts even reached level 3. Yi Mo didn't expect that with this, everyone would look at him like he was some monster. Tung Yi looked at Yi Mo speechlessly. Is there something you don't know? You're probably a grand master level rune maker, right? Yi Mo smiled. I can only make low-level runes, not even middle level, so you guessed wrong. There was another laugh, and Ji Ling came out of solitary cultivation after consolidating his power. He sighed. Many years ago, my master told me that the greatest prodigy would be able to be an expert in more than 2 side cultivations: pill concoction, forgery, formations, rune making, and so forth. Mo, brother, you're an exception. I've never seen a cultivator more prodigious than you. I'm sure if you studied rune making, you would soon become a grand master too. Mo quickly got up. Ji Ling Qianbei, you've finished consolidating your power? Ji Ling nodded and sat down, joining their conversation. Mo said, with Blue Moon, it will be about a year until we reach North Far State. This is just as I expected. Ji Ling said, we've been lucky and had no trouble along the way. We didn't meet any powerful beast cultivators. Plus, your extreme grade cultivation artifact is too fast. Many beast cultivators can't be bothered chasing up. If we encounter a truth realization state beast cultivator who isn't scared of trouble, we won't be enough. Mo nodded. Ji Ling Qianbei is right. If my Blue Moon was a half-immortal artifact, then we might have already reached North Far State. Meng Hanan suddenly asked, Martial Brother Yi, have you heard of the magical beast Kuan? Mo nodded. Of course he knew about Kuan. In one ancient record it said, in the deep north there's a fish. Its name is Kuan. Kuan's size is thousands of kilometers. It can transform into a bird named Peng. Peng's back is thousands of kilometers. It flies in anger, its wings like clouds dripping from the sky. Mo nodded. Of course he knew about Kuan. In one ancient record it said, in the deep north there's a fish. Its name is Kuan. Kuan's size is thousands of kilometers. It can transform into a bird named Peng. Peng's back is thousands of kilometers. It flies in anger, its wings like clouds dripping from the sky. This meant that Peng was transformed from Kuan, and Peng's speed was extremely fast. There was nothing that could compare. His Blue Moon had the tail feather of the 9 feather golden Peng. That was a level 10 material. It was said that 9 feather golden Peng only had very little of the magical beast Peng's bloodline. Meng Hanan nodded. I heard that Kuan once appeared in the Heartless Sea. It was just one small Kuan egg. I don't know where the egg fell from, but it hatched and was already level 7. Almost everyone came wanting to get it. Even if they couldn't get the beast, getting a scale or a drop of blood was also very good. Tung Yi immediately nodded. That's right, I've heard of it too. The big states were too far away, but almost all the sea region powers were all out. Even the peak truth realization state cultivators of the big states came later on. Meng Hanan said, that Kuan disappeared. It's unknown if someone captured it or it escaped itself. However, this Kuan was injured many times and left behind 3 scales. One of them is the backward scale. Mo seemed to understand what Meng Hanan wanted to say. Kuan's scale itself was beyond level 10 material. Meng Hanan nodded. Yes, the Kuan scale. The backward scale was taken by a truth realization state peak stage of the Heartless Sea, and one of the scales landed in the public city of the Heartless Sea, Inhai City. The last one is gone. Ji Ling suddenly said, Hanan, you mean that with Blue Moon's speed, if it has 1 Kuan scale, it would immediately become a half-immortal artifact, right? Meng Hanan smiled. Yes, I heard Martial Brother Yi say Blue Moon is too slow. And I thought of this. If one day Martial Brother Yi goes to Inhai City, he might be able to buy it. The backward scale is a top-grade defense magic artifact material, but the forward scale is a top-grade flying magic artifact material. Jai Ling said seriously, if Yimo's Blue Moon gets the forward scale, it would definitely be more than a half-immortal artifact. It would be an immortal artifact, for sure. Mo looked at Ji Ling in confusion. Ji Qianbei, how can you be so sure? Jai Ling smiled. Because Lu Qianbei told me that your Blue Moon already used the 9 feather golden Peng's tail feather. It's still a part of the Peng bloodline. If it has Kuan scale, it would really become the Kuan Peng. Mo was interested. He had offended too many people. And if his Blue Moon became an immortal artifact, then he could run if he couldn't beat them. And now Yi Mo knew the power of truth realization state cultivators. His flying cultivation artifact was much better than Jie Feng's, but he was still able to catch up to him after he left a long while earlier. This meant that with his current power, he couldn't escape from truth realization state cultivators. But soon Yi Mo calmed down. He knew that was impossible. He didn't know what that city was, and even if he did, how could he get it? If that scale was so easily attained, then it would have long been taken away by truth realization state cultivator. Meng Hanan saw Yi Mo look at her, and she shook her head. You don't need to look at me. I don't know Yin High City either. I've just heard people talk about it. Yi Mo smiled. I learned something today. If I can really go to the Yin High City one day, I might be able to find it there. But now we should hurry up and get a move on. Ji Ling suddenly said, I actually know that Yin High City. My ancestor went there once when crossing the Heartless Sea. So I have the sea markings for it, but it's said to be in the deepest part of the Heartless Sea. It's a neutral city. There are spirit beasts, beast cultivators, human cultivators, and even ghost cultivators, but they can coexist in harmony. Then Ji Qianbei, try using your compass and see how far it is from here. We can help Yi Mo see. What if we can really buy it? I still have a few million spirit stones, Tung Yi quickly said. Meng Hanan laughed. Tung, if it's really on sale there, you might only need tens of thousands of extreme-grade spirit stones. Tung Yi blushed. I have top-grade spirit stones. Not extreme-grade. TAA patted Tung Yi. Tung, Sister Meng is joking with you. Can't you tell? If the scale is really there, even a few 100 million top-grade spirit stones wouldn't be enough. Ji Ling said seriously, if it's really a Kuan scale, then a few 100 million is indeed not enough. He then looked at Yi Mo and asked, Brother Yi, if you want to go Yin High City, I can help you find the approximate location. But I can tell you for sure that even if there is Kuan scale, it's impossible for us to buy it. Even if we buy it, we can't take it away. Yi Mo thought for a long while before saying, Ji Qianbei, would there be danger in that city? It's in the depth of the Heartless Sea, and most of them are beast cultivators. Ji Ling agreed. I don't know the current Yin High City, but a few thousand years ago, it was said that all cultivators lived in harmony. However, harmony is established on power. Without it, it's impossible. Yi Mo said without hesitation. Ji Qianbei, although I don't have enough spirit stones to buy the Kuan scale, I still want to go see it. Even if we don't go in, I can know an approximate location. Before he found his daughter Yimo, who was still in North Far State, he wouldn't stop traveling between South Peace State and North Far State. It was impossible to set up a teleportation formation, as it took an entire state to set that up. He wasn't as wealthy as an entire state. J.I. Ling heard this and said immediately, Who has a compass? Meng Hanan took out the highest grade compass, so Ji Ling used it. After calculating for a long while, he told Yi Mo to take Blue Moon a little west. Another 10 days, Ji Ling told him to go northwest. Just like this, they kept on changing until 1 month later. Ji Ling finally told Yi Mo to stop. He pointed at the Big Sea region. It's around here. I don't know the exact location as I haven't been here. What do we do? Tung Yi asked. Yi Mo just wanted to say find a nearby beast cultivator and ask when he saw 2 lights dash across his spirit sense. He immediately flew over with Blue Moon. Blue Moon was so much faster than the 2 beams traveling and caught up instantly. It was 2 cauldron-filling state cultivators, both primary stage. They immediately took out their magic artifacts, waiting anxiously. Yi Mo didn't talk and styneled Tung Yi. Tung Yi immediately knew what Yi Mo meant. He was the only beast cultivator here. Tung Yi saluted with his fists. Brothers, we're just coming past here. We want to ask where the Yin High City is. Can you please tell us? The 2 heard this and breathed easy. The red-haired beast cultivator saluted with his fists. We just came from there. Just go west about 60,000 kilometers from here, and you'll arrive. Thank you. Please go as you wish, Ting said happily. This distance was really just a moment for Blue Moon. Yi Mo saw the two leave with glimmering eyes. He felt that the beast cultivator seemed to be hiding something. When they arrived at where the two beast cultivators pointed them to, they faced a 100-meter-long rock. It was derelict like a small island. When they arrived at where the two beast cultivators pointed them to, they faced a 100-meter-long rock. It was derelict like a small island. They landed on this rock, but couldn't find the entrance. How do we get in? Bian Fengtao looked around and asked in confusion. Ji Ling said, There should be a formation here. I didn't ask precisely how to get in. Yi Mo could already tell there was a formation here, but neither he nor Ji Ling found the entrance. Just when he wanted to check carefully, another flying magic artifact came over. It was a low-grade cultivation artifact. As soon as it stopped, an eagle-eyed cultivator got off. He was disaster transformation state level 6. He landed on the rock and scanned Yi Mo and them without saying anything. Then he waved at his flying magic ship. Two girls got off. One seemed to be the master, and the other seemed to be the maid. The woman behind was carefully helping the woman ahead. The woman being held was cauldron-filling state, and thus that was just to show her status. Yi Mo scanned them and didn't care anymore. He focused his eyes on the eagle-eyed male cultivator, wanting to know how he would get into the city. The cultivator glared back coldly at Yi Mo, but then scanned Ji Ling and didn't say anything. His expression showed that he didn't consider Ji Ling a threat. He took out a black jade card and swiped in the air above the rock, and a door appeared. Yi Mo's eyes focused. This was a void formation door. He never even realized it before, and neither did Ji Ling. This void formation door was much more powerful than the one he saw at All Herb Mountain Range. Let's go in. The man turned back and said to the two women. Just when they wanted to go in, Yi Mo suddenly said, Wait. The eagle-eyed man's power rose drastically, and he stared coldly at Yi Mo. What? Are you going to stop In Sha from going in the city? Yi Mo didn't answer him, but looked at the other blue-dressed girl. You're Guang Wei. The blue-dressed girl shook and looked up. Then she immediately saw Yi Mo. Yi Mo. It was indeed Guang Wei. Yi Mo didn't expect the North Far State Immortal Herb Valley's disciple Guang Wei would be here. He also said in joy, It really is you, martial sister Guang Wei. How are you here? The woman whom Guang Wei held said coldly, We're going. Stop wasting time. Yes. Guang Wei looked down in horror again. Yi Mo felt this was wrong. It was already strange she appeared here, but it also seemed her status was lower than a maid. Before the two could get in, he stopped them. What do you want to do? The eagle-eyed man came up and released his magic artifact. It was a pair of yin-yang locks, a top-grade cultivation artifact. Yi Mo couldn't even be bothered talking to him. He took a step forward and pulled over Guang Wei from that cauldron-filling state female cultivator and sneered. If you want to fight, then fight. Seeing that Yi Mo was about to release Si Su, Ji Ling waved his hand at him, and Yi Mo thought before stopping. That cauldron-filling state middle-stage woman looked at Yi Mo in shock. Yi Mo pulled Guang Wei away from her, and yet she couldn't resist at all. You're asking to die. In Sha's killing intent rose, and his yin-yang locks were humming. However, Yi Mo saw that he didn't really intend to attack. It was more that he was trying to make Yi Mo attack first, but he clearly overestimated himself, and Yi Mo didn't move at all. Just then, another cold voice sneered, and a skinny man appeared. He scanned them before looking coldly at In Sha. Who dares to fight outside the Inhai city? The man didn't expect Yi Mo to not even release his magic artifact after he put on an act for so long. He quickly put away his yin-yang locks and lowered his power while saluting with his fists. Law enforcer! These people dare to rob my cultivation woman. I bought this cultivation woman for a huge price at the High City, and I was planning to use her to reach disaster transformation state, tertiary stage. Yi Mo was shook when he saw this skinny man. He was truth realization state, primary stage, and his cultivation method was very eerie. When he heard this man say Guang Wei was his cultivation woman that he planned to use to break through, Yi Mo was furious. Guang Wei helped him many times in the herb plane. How could he watch while she was taken as a cultivation woman? Seeing that the man instantly took back his power and talked very respectfully to the law enforcer, Yi Mo knew that the status of the law enforcer was very high. He also realized why the man didn't truly attack him. He was trying to make him attack first, and this way he would be caught by the law enforcer. Yi Mo felt grateful to Ji Ling, seeing the law enforcer look coldly at him. Yi Mo knew that this Sha must be familiar here, and they were here for the first time. Of course the law enforcer would help Sha. Yi Mo immediately saluted with his fists. Law enforcer, Guang Wei is my martial sister. As for being a cultivation woman, this is bullshit. Yi Mo was betting that this law enforcer wouldn't care about such trivial matters, and so he straight up denied robbing Guang Wei. Guang Wei also said, "Yes, law enforcer, I'm not someone's cultivation woman." The law enforcer sneered. "I don't care what's going on between you guys. If anyone dares to fight here, I will kill them. You must solve any conflict more than 100,000 kilometers away from here." It was so indeed. Yi Mo went up and saluted with his fists. Yes. Seeing this, Sha was furious, but he knew that he wouldn't be able to get her back. If he still wanted to fight, he would have to face the law enforcer. He glared hatefully at Yi Mo and didn't go in the city. Instead, he stood on the side waiting for Yi Mo and them while sending a few messages with his communication bead. If Yi Mo went in, he would go in. If Yi Mo left, he would follow. It seemed as though he was certain he would be able to take Yi Mo and them on. The law enforcer acted as though he didn't see this and scanned Yi Mo other than that blue-robed woman. "It's your first time here?" Yi Mo heard and knew that the law enforcer knew clearly that Guang Wei was bought by the man, but he couldn't be bothered caring. Yi Mo quickly replied, "Yes, law enforcer, we want to go to High City, but it's our first time here, and we don't have the black card, so we can't go in." The law enforcer nodded. "Yes, you need to buy the High card from 1 to 100 spots. Which one do you want to buy?" "For 10, and below I have them here. For 10 to 100 you need to buy it at the High City." Yi Mo just realized that this law enforcer wanted to do this, so Yi Mo immediately asked, "May I ask law enforcer how many spirit stones are required for 10 million spirit stones? Usable for 10 years, the manager said calmly. Yi Mo was shocked. It was this expensive. Just the entrance card was 10 million spirit stones. Just how expensive were the things inside? Plus, he didn't even have 10 million spirit stones. Knowing this, Yi Mo didn't plan to go in anymore. As though seeing Yi Mo's hesitation, Guang Wei said pitifully, "Martial brother Yi Mo, my master is still in the High City like me." It seemed that he had to go in now. Her master was being auctioned off as cultivation woman too. Meng Hanan could tell Yi Mo didn't have enough spirit stones, so she immediately took out a storage bag and said, "There's 50 million here. You can use it first." Yi Mo nodded gratefully and gave the law enforcer 10 million. Yi Mo used the card he got and swiped in the air. That void formation door appeared again. Yi Mo walked in and Ji Ling and them followed. Yi Mo thought that needing a void formation door, this city would be a submerged city without a lot of plants. Yi Mo thought that needing a void formation door, this city would be a submerged city without a lot of plants. But when they came in, he realized he was wrong. They stood at a huge grassy plain, and there was a wide stone road. At the end of the road was an ancient city door. There were 3 words, High City. The dense spirit chi here made Yi Mo feel there was at least an extreme grade spirit range here. "It's here My ancestor said there was a grassy plain in here, Ji Ling said. Yi Mo felt a sense of familiarity, but he couldn't tell why. He was sure he had never come here before. Bien Fengta gasped, "This is the perfect place to hide, but it's a pity that now it's a public city. Everyone knows about this place. If I knew about this place alone, I would cultivate and hide here. This spirit chi." Yi Mo heard this and finally realized why this place was familiar. When he was in the ice god forbidden grounds and saw Qingru, that big tree was a small world. It was Qingru's small world. After Qingru went inside, it turned into a blue bead. He found that this city had the same qi as Qingru's small world. Thinking about this, Yi Mo was surprised and cold sweat ran down his back. If his guess was right and the High city was a small world, then if this small world was someone else's, they were under this person's complete control. If the High city had no owner, then he was scared. But if it was someone else's small world, should he leave immediately? If he didn't, wouldn't their every action be monitored by someone? Meng Hanan saw Yi Mo didn't go in, and instead frowned. She immediately asked, "Marshal brother, Yi, what's going on? Let's go inside first." Yi Mo thought there was no point staying here. If it was someone else's small world, they had already come in. Plus, this city had existed for countless years, and Ji Ling didn't tell any strange stories. Regardless whether this small world belonged to someone else, it had nothing to do with him. Thinking about this, Yi Mo breathed easy and laughed. "Yes, let's go in." Despite this, Yi Mo had made up his mind. He would leave here as soon as possible. After walking out a short distance, Yi Mo saw that Insha also walked in. There was also another disaster transformation state, peak stage, next to him, and a disaster transformation state level 8. It seemed they were keeping an eye on him. Yi Mo sneered. So what if it was disaster transformation state peak stage? Yi Mo searched around with his spirit sense carefully, and after a while, he took it back. He felt he thought too much. This might be a small world, but it probably wasn't controlled by someone. When they came in, the men also followed, but Yi Mo knew they didn't dare to attack in the city at all, so he ignored them. As Ji Ling said, Yi Mo saw a lot of beast cultivators inside, and many human cultivators. Yi Mo even saw more than 10 ghost cultivators. More absurdly, Yi Mo saw 4 spirit beasts who hadn't morphed yet. This strange mix made the city seem very busy. Stores and stalls were everywhere, as well as hotels, spirit rest towers, and pill shops. Yi Mo didn't see truth realization state cultivators walking around, but he knew there would be quite some truth realization state cultivators here. Yi Mo didn't know how big the city was at all because there were spirit sense barrier formations everywhere. Yi Mo needed to find a quiet place to ask what happened to Guang Wei and why she and her master were caught here. Guang Wei's master was Ming Xian. Yi Mo remembered her wanting to marry him into the sect and felt sad. How could she be doing well after being captured here? Yi Mo had respect for Ming Xian. As the sect leader of Immortal Herb Valley, she didn't have any bad intentions towards him after he rejected her. This was very rare. In the cultivation realm, power was everything, and yet Yi Mo was only a foundation establishment state cultivator at the time. Indeed, Ming Xian was a little unhappy, but that was it. So, regardless, Yi Mo was going to come help. The second thing was to look out for the Cohen scale. Yi Mo saw the men, didn't keep following them after he went in. They just stood at the city door. Soon, Yi Mo and them found a hotel to stay in. After getting into a room, Yi Mo set up a sound restriction immediately. Seeing this, Ji Ling nodded. Yi Mo, you're a natural at formations and restrictions. Yi Mo smiled but looked at Guang Wei and asked, "Martial Sister Guang Wei, tell me what happened at the Immortal Herb Valley. Why are you and your master being sold as cultivation women?" However, Guang Wei said desperately, "I will tell you about this later, okay? When I was bought off 3 days ago, my master was still in the market. I don't know how she's doing now. Can we go see?" Hearing this, Yi Mo immediately said to the group, "Why don't I go see with Marshal Sister Guang Wei, and you guys wait for me here?" Ji Ling immediately said, "I'll go with you." Yi Mo shook his head. "No need. Fighting isn't allowed here. This can't be solved with numbers. Who else has spirit stones? Lend me some." Tung Yi was about to take out his spirit stones, but Meng Hanan stopped him. "Yours aren't enough, use mine." Then Meng Hanan gave Yi Mo a storage ring. "This belongs to my sea treasure tower. Yonglani wanted to capture me greatly because of this. You can use it." Yi Mo took it and scanned with spirit sense. He then immediately looked at Meng Hanan with shock. Before Yi Mo could say any words of gratitude, Meng Hanan smiled. "I said I would be following you. This can be my fee." Yi Mo saluted with his fist to Meng Hanan. "Thank you, Sister Meng. No matter what you did before, from how you helped me out today, I won't betray you." Meng Hanan pushed Yi Mo and said, "Hurry up and go rescue them." "If possible, I want to leave here early. I have a bad feeling here." Yi Mo was a little shaken. Meng Hanan's instincts were too accurate. Yi Mo also knew now wasn't the time to be wasting time. So he pulled Guang Wei out of the hotel and said, "Take me to that market." Guang Wei quickly brought Yi Mo across a busy street. Yi Mo was thinking about the storage ring Meng Hanan gave him on the way. It shook Yi Mo too much. Yi Mo saw more than 500 million top-grade spirit stones and a few hundred extreme-grade spirit stones. Other than this, there were mountains of spirit herbs, ores, and materials. There weren't level 9 spirit herbs, but he saw more than 10 level 8 spirit herbs. As for pills, Yi Mo didn't see any, probably because Meng Hanan knew he was a pill king. But since Meng Hanan provided him with this many spirit stones when he needed them the most, Yi Mo had planned to provide her with pills. Yi Mo knew this amount of spirit stones was probably 99% of the Sea Treasure Palace's wealth, and yet Meng Hanan gave it all to him. Guang Wei took Yi Mo across a few streets before coming to a huge square. There weren't a lot of cultivators here, and Guang Wei didn't stay here. She turned and took Yi Mo behind the square into a huge hall. Guang Wei took Yi Mo across a few streets before coming to a huge square. There weren't a lot of cultivators here, and Guang Wei didn't stay here. She turned and took Yi Mo behind the square into a huge hall. Yi Mo was certain this was the first time he had seen a hall this big. Even 9-star sect Black Ice Sect's hall wasn't even 1% as big as this. There were all sorts of glamorous stones hanging on the ceiling, shining down on the hall brightly. There were a lot of people here, almost in every corner. Yi Mo scanned with spirit sense, and there were all sorts of strange things here. He even saw a few ghost cultivators dealing cultivator souls. As for spirit beasts and golden core, or even nascent soul cultivators and essence spirits, they was all too common. Seeing this Yi Mo sighed. If an ordinary person came here, he would be scared into psychosis. Guang Wei looked around frantically immediately and wasn't able to find the person she looked for a long time. She looked extremely worried. Clearly her master had been bought. That would only result in death. Yi Mo patted her shoulder. "Don't worry, let's go to where your master was before." Guang Wei heard this and realized that she had been too worried. She quickly took Yi Mo to the innermost place in the palace. There was a row of more than 10 female cultivators. They were all very beautiful, but their faces were numb. Clearly, they knew the fate that beheld them. All of them had restrictions placed on them. If there wasn't someone specific to release them, they wouldn't be able to get away. Yi Mo saw this and felt very uncomfortable, but he knew there was nothing he could do, whether it was on Earth or in the cultivation realm. Such things happened, and it was impossible to eradicate. If Yi Mo had enough power, he would kill all of these human traffickers and let all the abducted people go. But he didn't have enough power. Power was his greatest weakness right now. Even though he was progressing very fast compared to the powerful beings here, he was still a far cry away. Weren't you a cultivation woman bought only a few days ago? Why did you come back? A fat seller who was body condensation state level 7 saw Guang Wei and asked in disbelief. Yi Mo sneered. Fat pig! Who did you call a cultivation woman? Keep your month clean. The fat cultivator shivered and didn't dare to talk. The status between people who were being marked as for sale was different than the free people here. Even though one appeared here again in different status, it required different treatment. As for reproaching, even if Yi Mo slapped him a few times, he wouldn't dare to do anything. He offended a higher-level cultivator as a lower-level cultivator. But Yi Mo didn't know the rules here, so he didn't hit this fat man. Tell me, where is my master? Guang Wei asked immediately. The fat man looked at Guang Wei in confusion for a while before asking, You're talking about the woman who came with you that day? Yes, her. Where is she now? Guang Wei asked desperately. The fat man dazed and said, She has an average look, so no one wanted her. A dual cultivation hotel has pre-ordered her, but just hasn't taken her away. Yi Mo was furious. That was the brothel of the cultivation realm. Anyone would be able to use that cultivation woman for cultivation until she died. Dual cultivation hotels were many times crueler than brothels. But Yi Mo was confused. Ming Xian was pretty like a beautiful young woman. Her looks were no lower than Qin Muxin, and even prettier than Guang Wei. How could she be average-looking? Guang Wei didn't realize this, and quickly said, Bring my master out. We'll buy her. The fat man had a sliver of joy but put on a hard face. But she's been pre-ordered by the Dual Cultivation Hotel. I can't regret. How could Yi Mo not know what the fat man meant? He sneered. If she's still here, then don't waste time. Bring her here. As for spirit stones, I have plenty. If she has one hair missing, I will tear down your stall. The fat man immediately replied, Okay, I'll get her sent over immediately. He ignored the last bit of Yi Mo's sentence. Many cultivators wanted to do this, but none of them could. Plus, this wasn't his stall. He was just working here. He took out a communication bead and sent a message. 10 minutes later, a triangular-eyed man brought a middle-aged female cultivator over. Yi Mo looked at her and could tell she was indeed Ming Xian, but her face was ruined. Yi Mo saw, and he realized that she did this herself. The people selling her wouldn't ruin her face. Master, Guang Wei saw Ming Xian and ran over immediately. The fat man saw this and laughed. The higher Ming Xian status was, the more he would earn. Ming Xian saw Guang Wei with Yi Mo and was dazed for a moment before asking, How are you with Yi Mo? How can he be in a place like this? Guang Wei quickly said, Master, I'll tell you this later. Yi Mo saved me and took me here to save you. Luckily you're still here, Master. I was so scared. Guang Wei couldn't control her sadness and was about to cry. Yi Mo patted Guang Wei's shoulder, signaling her to calm down before saying to Ming Xian Qianbei, I didn't expect that after the farewell at Broken Leaf City, we would meet again in the distant Heartless Sea. At this moment, she realized that Yi Mo came to save her. She asked shakily in surprise and joy, Yi Mo, you saved Guang Wei? And now you came to save me? Yi Mo nodded. It was just luck that I saw Guang Wei. She's my friend, so I'm willing to help her. Plus, Wan Bei respects Ming Xian Qianbei's character. Ming Xian sighed in her heart about fate. In a few years, she not only could see Yi Mo's cultivation level, but needed Yi Mo to rescue her. But she thought more about karma. She didn't even give Yi Mo anything, but just didn't oppress him. And now she had this opportunity of redemption. For someone like her, she would rather die than dual cultivate with countless cultivators. Yi Mo said to the fat man, Tell me, how many spirit stones? Hurry up. He smiled. That dual cultivation hotel offered 5 million top-grade spirit stones, but since you intervened, you can pay 7 million. Yi Mo sneered, and just when he was about to speak, his spirit sense saw the eagle-eyed man come over here. Regardless whether he came for him, he needed to finish this deal now. Thinking about this, Yi Mo threw over a storage bag and said, "This is 7 million. Done deal." The fat cultivator took it in joy. He didn't expect that he made such a high bid, and Yi Mo didn't even argue. But before he could count it, the eagle-eyed cultivator's voice sounded. "Wait, Insha will have this female cultivator." He pointed at Ming Xian. Guang Wei heard this and began to worry, but Yi Mo didn't seem to hear the man talking and said to Guang Wei, "Let's go." Guang Wei heard this and began to worry, but Yi Mo didn't seem to hear the man talking and said to Guang Wei, "Let's go." "Wait." Insha stopped the two without hesitation. He then turned to the fat man and said, "Pang Meng, what are you doing with your business? Are you not going to follow the Yin High City rules? I clearly saw that your deal hasn't finished. Why is she leaving?" Before the fat cultivator could respond, Yi Mo said coldly, "I already paid spirit stones, with which did you see with that the business hasn't finished?" Insha looked at Yi Mo in contempt. "Both of my eyes saw the deal wasn't finished. Don't speak if you don't know the rules." Then he said to Pang Meng, "Pang Meng, has the sale of this female cultivator finished?" The fat cultivator subconsciously shivered. "No, it hasn't. I haven't gotten the time to talk about the second part with this friend. When you came..." He then looked worriedly at Yi Mo and said, "Friend, the sale of cultivation here is indeed a two-part process. We just done the first part of the deal." Pang Meng had a clear mind, and after seeing the buyer of Guang Wei come and seemingly have great enmity with Yi Mo, how could he not know what happened? Yi Mo frowned. It was his first time here, and he didn't know that much. Pang Meng explained, "The first step is to use spirit chi just to reach an agreement, and give me the spirit stones. The second part is I need to remove the cultivation woman's restrictions, and you need to pay again for that." Yi Mo finally realized how this Pang Meng was planning to scam him. The first step for 7 million was just the beginning. Then he needed him to remove the restriction, and thus he could ask for whatever price he wanted. Usually one needed the person who set the restriction to remove it. It was very hard for others to do so. Even so, it would require the power of the cultivator to be much higher than the one who placed the restriction. Otherwise, just one mistake, and the restricted person would die. If the person who placed the restriction was truth realization state, then it would be very hard for another truth realization state to remove it. Yi Mo sneered, "Fat man, so you're saying I need to give you more spirit stones to finish the second part of the deal?" Pang Meng smiled. "You're right, friend. It's indeed so. But the second part of the deal won't be much more expensive than the first part." Yi Mo was furious. "Won't be more than the first part." This was clearly a huge scam. Without a doubt, if he didn't agree to the second part, he wouldn't get his money back for the first part. Insha suddenly said, "No matter how much spirit stones he pays, I will pay 1 million more. I'll have this female cultivator." Pang Meng looked happy and gave the spirit stones back to Yi Mo, seemingly helplessly. "Sorry, someone is bidding a higher price." Yi Mo couldn't control his fury anymore and sent a spirit sense soared over. Pang Meng spat a mouthful of blood suddenly and then looked at Yi Mo with a pale face. He pointed at Yi Mo, You dare to attack in this business hall?" Then he pressed the alarm button like crazy. Moments later, 2 cauldron-filling tertiary stage cultivators came. "You pressed the alarm button?" The cauldron-filling state glanced coldly at Pang Meng. Pang Meng nodded his head like a chicken. "Yes, 2 law enforcers. This person is making a deal here, but not only does he disobey the rules, he also attacked me." He then pointed the blood on the ground and was furious. "You dare to attack him here?" The cauldron filling state's tones went icy cold while his partner blocked off Yi Mo's exit. Seeing this, everyone stopped what they were doing to watch the show. If it was somewhere else, he would kill these two cauldron-filling state cultivators and this Pang Meng, but he knew he would be dead for sure if he did that here. Yi Mo immediately went up. Law enforcers. This fat man is lying in front of you. He said I attacked him, but there are surveillance formations here, and many people saw. I didn't even move my hand. How did I attack him? That cauldron-filling state cultivator heard this and left. Moments later he came back and said to the other cauldron-filling state, he didn't attack indeed. Wait, he attacked me. I spat blood because of that. Pang Meng shrieked. The cauldron-filling state who checked the surveillance said, do you have evidence? If you have evidence that he attacked you, we will take him away immediately. But if you have no evidence and you dare to question us, then don't blame us. Pang Meng's heart went cold. He knew Yi Mo used a spirit sense attack. Spirit sense attack didn't have any cultivation essence waves. How was he going to find evidence? He also knew the two law enforcers knew this, but they had no evidence. Yi Mo sneered. Perhaps you felt your blood wasn't fresh and wanted to spit, or maybe you're sick. Who knows? The cultivators around laughed. A body condensation state cultivator getting sick? Was that possible? Seeing that they were going to leave, Pang Meng pointed at Yi Mo. This man didn't finish his deal with me and was going to take away a cultivation woman. He won't even let someone else bid. That is breaking the rules here. The cauldron-filling state was unhappy that he wasn't able to catch Yi Mo when he clearly attacked the fat man. Now that there was something else that involved Yi Mo, his face immediately sunk. You're quite bold, but you won't even get a chance to regret if you think this is your place. The cauldron-filling state took our spirit artifact handcuffs. Yin Sha smirked. He knew this cultivator would be dead if the law enforcers took him. Yi Mo understood the rules approximately here. Even if the law enforcers wanted to help Pang Meng, they needed to get things clear publicly. How could he let the two take him away? He would truly be done for then. Yi Mo said, law enforcers, are you just going to listen to one side of the story, and you could take people away? If that's the case, then I need to report to the city lord. The other cauldron-filling state stopped his partner from cuffing Yi Mo and said coldly, when did you see us listen to one side of the story? You didn't follow our rules, we can't take you away? Yi Mo laughed. Many people saw what happened, and there's surveillance formations. You two never asked my side. You just listened to the fat man and said, I disobeyed the rules? Is this the rules of Inhai City? If Inhai City is really like this, then count me unlucky. Humph. A cultivator came and said, since when did Inhai City become a place that only listens to one side of the story? Anyone who comes here is equal. Even we are equal. This was a disaster transformation state, tertiary stage cultivator. Yi Mo sneered. Equal my asshole. Yet he said it so seriously. The two cauldron-filling states saw this disaster transformation state cultivator, and their faces changed immediately and bowed. Manager, the disaster transformation state, ignored the two and looked coldly at Yi Mo. If you don't give me a reason, I will kill you on the spot. Yi Mo was contemptuous. Kill him on the spot? A mere disaster transformation state level 7 dared to make such bold statement. He killed a disaster transformation state level 4 when he was cauldron-filling state level 2. Now, he was cauldron-filling state level 6, but Yi Mo still answered. Manager, my deal with Pang Meng clearly finished, but he said it didn't. Instead, he wants to sell the female cultivator I bought to someone else. Is this a domineering act? If everyone does what he does, who dares to make deals here? Pang Meng quickly bowed and said, Manager, this cultivator is bullshitting. The deal clearly isn't finished. There's not only surveillance formations here, but also many eyewitnesses. He's lying on the spot. Insha also said, yes, manager, I indeed saw the deal wasn't finished, but he was forcefully saying it was. The disaster transformation state cultivator looked coldly at Yi Mo. Is that so? Yi Mo said in no rush. Manager, please let me ask this fat man a few questions. Yi Mo said in no rush. Manager, please let me ask this fat man a few questions. The manager said indifferently. Ask. Yi Mo looked at Pang Meng and said coldly, you said that your cultivation women are two-step deals, right? That's right. We've only done the first part of the deal, not the second part, Pang Meng immediately said. Okay. Then did we finish the first part? Did you get my spirit stones? Yi Mo asked with scorn. Pang Meng didn't know what Yi Mo meant, but he nodded. Yes, the first part of the deal is over. You gave me spirit stones, and I gave you the cultivation woman. Yi Mo suddenly raised his voice and questioned, so that means she's mine now? What right do you have to let someone who is mine be involved in another deal? Are my spirit stones fake, or is this something you always do? Pang Meng was dazed and couldn't react. Those cultivators who came here had to do the second part of the deal, as if they didn't. Even if they got their cultivation woman, they wouldn't be able to use her. She would die very soon. He thought and immediately knew what Yi Mo meant. He said loudly, you're right, but if you want to do the second part of the deal, and I disagree, then the cultivation woman you buy will die for sure. If you're going to do the second part of the deal with me, then the deal isn't over. The first part one can regret at any time, and I can refund your spirit stones. You must give her back to me. Yi Mo calmed his tone and said, so you're saying that after the first part of the deal, you must agree for the second part to proceed? Am I not allowed to disagree? Or do I have to make the second part of the deal? Is this coercion? Pang Meng said coldly, it's up to you if you want to do the second part of the deal. You can disagree. I'm not forcing you to agree, but if you agree, then I get to decide your cultivation woman again. Pang Meng sneered because he knew that Yi Mo needed him for the second part of the deal. Otherwise, the cultivation woman would die, for sure. He bought this cultivation woman with his spirit stones, and he knew her. There was no way he was willing to let her die. Yi Mo ignored this fat man and saluted with his fists to the manager. Manager, from the start to the end, I've never asked to do the second part of the deal, but this man is forcing me to do the second part of the deal and wants to take back my cultivation woman. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance formation or ask people around here. I want to ask, just then this fat man said the second part of the deal is up to me. Since he knows this, why is he forcing me to do the second part of the deal? The manager suddenly glared coldly at Pang Meng. Is that the case? Pang Meng shivered. He thought that Yi Mo would definitely do the second part of the deal, but instead he didn't mention it at all. If Yi Mo would rather let the cultivation woman die and lose 7 million than agree to the second part of the deal, then he would have dug a hole for himself. He couldn't deny what he did, so he could only nod. Yes, but manager he must. Yi Mo sneered again. I get to decide what to do with this cultivation woman. Why should I do the second part of the deal? I never wanted to do it. Pang Meng's heart sunk. This cultivator's heart was so cruel and tough. The reality was in front of him, and he couldn't make an excuse for himself. He could only bow to Yi Mo. I didn't know you didn't intend to do the second part of the deal, friend. It's my fault. I apologize. Yi Mo ignored him and saluted with his fists to the manager. Manager, if you didn't come over, I would have been taken away because I didn't want to do the second part of the deal. And the cultivation woman I bought would be taken away for no reason. I believe in High City. I believe the city will give me justice. A sliver of a glare flashed across this disaster transformation state cultivator's eyes. He scanned Yi Mo and said, I understand the specific situation now. The city will deal with the 2 law enforcers. As for this person who forced you to do the second part of the deal, you can make 2 requests that don't hurt his life. Yi Mo immediately said, Yes, thank you, manager. You indeed do things with justice. I came to the right city. Then, Yi Mo looked coldly at Pang Meng. My first request is compensation. The 11 cultivation women here are a little lacking, but it's barely enough. I want them whole. Pang Meng heard this and looked fearfully at the manager. The manager said expressionlessly, "Yes, remove their restrictions immediately and give them to this customer." Before Pang Meng could reply, another cultivator outside the circle came in and bowed. "Yes, manager. Mo Kwan will do this immediately." It was a disaster transformation state peak stage cultivator. He removed the 11 cultivation women's restrictions and brought them to Yi Mo. "Friend, how about I remove the restriction of the cultivation woman you bought before and complete the deal?" Yi Mo sneered. He dared to play such little tricks. Yi Mo waved his hand. "No need. I can do whatever I want with the cultivation woman I bought. Outsiders don't need to intervene." He grasped the reason of the forced second part of the deal. If he agreed now, his reason would be no more. Killing intent flashed across his eyes, but the middle stage, peak stage, didn't say anything and left. The manager nodded and asked, "What's your second request?" Yi Mo said, "Thank you, manager. My second request is to slap this Pang Meng who dared to scam me." The manager nodded without care. "Without the order of the city lord, no one is allowed to kill. You understand this, right?" Yi Mo quickly said, "Yes, manager, I won't kill. I'm a foreign cultivator. I don't dare to kill in Ian High City. I'm just slapping him, at most making him spit blood. If he didn't scam me so hard before, I wouldn't make such a request." Some people already began to feel sorry for Pang Meng just from how he got 11 cultivation women back instead. This slap wouldn't be simple. Pang Meng broke into a cold sweat looking at the disaster transformation state peak stage seeking help, but the disaster transformation state peak stage didn't seem to see this. "Hurry up and slap him," the manager said. Yi Mo heard this and went up without hesitation, slapping Pang Meng's chest. People saw Pang Meng didn't seem to move, but his eyes became more dazed. The manager looked at Yi Mo and thought this cultivator was so vile. A foreign cultivator dared to do things to this extreme. He was this young and powerful. Clearly he had no simple origin. Then the manager said to the two cauldron-filling state, "Go receive your punishment in the law enforcer hall." The two shivered and replied, "Yes, manager." The manager glanced coldly at Yi Mo before disappearing. At this moment Pang Meng woke up from his daze and pointed at Yi Mo shakily. You destroyed my Dan Tian." Then Pang Meng spat blood again as he fell to the ground in a spasm. Pang Meng was done for. This was worse than killing him. Some cultivators looked at Yi Mo fearfully. A foreign cultivator dared to use such extreme means. He greatly offended the manager. In Sha looked at Yi Mo coldly, but he was shocked. He didn't expect Yi Mo to be this cruel, but clearly he had offended the manager. How could Yi Mo not know this? But he didn't care. He was about to leave immediately. Yi Mo took Guang Wei and the 11 female cultivators and left the hall. When they came outside, Yi Mo stopped and looked at the 11 cultivation women. "You all have nascent soul state or hollow spirit state power. I can't take you guys away now, so I'll give you guys a few flying magic artifacts, and you can run yourself." Yi Mo took Guang Wei and the 11 female cultivators and left the hall. When they came outside, Yi Mo stopped and looked at the 11 cultivation women. "You all have nascent soul state or hollow spirit state power. I can't take you guys away now, so I'll give you guys a few flying magic artifacts, and you can run yourself." "Qian Bei, you're not going to use us as cultivation women." One pink-dressed hollow spirit state primary stage heard Yi Mo's words and asked shakily. Yi Mo smiled. "Do you think I'm someone who needs cultivation women? I can't bring you guys with me in Ian High City. As for whether you can live or not, it's up to your fortune." The 11 cultivation women didn't believe this was real at all. After Yi Mo and Guang Wei and Ming Xian disappeared, they realized that they didn't even thank Yi Mo. When they wanted to chase up, Yi Mo was already gone. The pink female cultivator first reacted and asked an older, yellow-robed female cultivator, Sister Sinew, what should we do now? She bowed in Yi Mo's direction first before saying, if we leave Yin High City now, we'll be dead for sure. But if we stay here, it's very safe. I heard this city often holds an exchange social, so we'll wait for one to come, and when it ends, we'll leave with those who came here. Then I can send a message to my sect and ask for help. The rest of the girls also agreed. Yi Mo was helpless. That was indeed all he could do. He couldn't allow these female cultivator to be ruined in the dual cultivation hotel. He also hoped that if one of his friends or family fell in such a situation, there would be someone to help them like that. He helped Meng Qi thinking the same thing. He hoped that if Yimo was in trouble, there would be a cultivator to help like him. Yi Mo and Guang Wei brought Ming Xian back to the hotel and introduced them to everyone else. Tung Yi and Bian Fengta weren't at the hotel. Meng Hanan said they were adamant on searching for news about the Kuan scale, so they went out. After the people had a talk, Yi Mo set up a few more restrictions before letting everyone sit down. Marshal Brother Yi, what do we do about the restriction on my master? Guang Wei asked. Ming Xian waved her hand and said shakily, Yi Mo, thank you. If you and Guang Wei didn't come, I don't even know what would have happened. I'm not afraid of the restriction. I'm afraid that I won't even be able to die when I want to. Yi Mo signaled Ming Xian to sit down. He wasn't afraid of even truth realization state restrictions. His three-birth chant could even give birth to cultivation methods, much less restrictions. Plus, Yi Mo knew her restriction was just placed by a disaster transformation state cultivator, Ming Xian Qianbei. If you trust me, I can help you remove the restriction, Yi Mo said. Ming Xian said firmly, help me, I trust you. Yi Mo held Ming Xian's hand and checked her meridians. He immediately had an understanding of this restriction. In less than 8 minutes, Yi Mo completely removed her restriction and let her recover her power, feeling cultivation essence come back to her body again. Ming Xian immediately got up and thanked Yi Mo excitedly. Other than gratitude, she felt more shock. It was very hard to remove a restriction you didn't place, and yet Yi Mo removed hers easily. She didn't even have any hope to remove it, but Yi Mo actually easily allowed her to recover. Yi Mo took out some storage rings, giving one to Ming Xian and another to Guang Wei while saying, go get a change of clothes, and then we can talk. Ming Xian nodded and took the storage ring before getting up with Guang Wei. Yi Mo then said, there are 2 face-preserving pills as well. Face-preserving pills? Guang Wei and Ming Xian looked at Yi Mo in shock. Meng Hanan also said this and looked at Ming Xian and Guang Wei in envy. Face-preserving pill. Which woman didn't want to keep her youthful look forever? A woman valued her looks more than her life. Yi Mo nodded. Yes, but it was made by me 20 years ago, so it doesn't look very good. Guang Wei held the storage ring excitedly and wanted to go try immediately. Ming Xian looked gratefully at Yi Mo again and didn't say anything. She took Guang Wei inside to shower and change. Yi Mo looked back at Meng Hanan and also took out a jade bottle. There's one more here. It's yours. Meng Hanan took the bottle from Yi Mo and quickly said, perfect. I've been looking for one for decades, but now I really got one. Thank you, Yi Mo. Yi Mo smiled. Sister Meng helped me so much. I haven't thanked you yet. A mere face-preserving pill is nothing. Ji Ling looked at Yi Mo and shook his head. You have so many good things on you. When you were at the Pill King tournament, I even wanted to ask for a rare flame for you from Lu Qianbei. But it seems I underestimated you. Yi Mo smiled. Ji Qianbei, do you want one too? Unexpectedly, Ji Ling nodded. Yes, I'll have one. My granddaughter must be really worried about me this time. I can give one to her. I don't need one for myself. Yi Mo took out a prepared storage ring and gave it to Jiling Ji Qianbei. Here are some things I've prepared, and some of my formation experience. It's yours now, Qianbei. Jiling nodded and took it. He knew Yi Mo was wealthy, and he didn't need to be too polite with Yi Mo. Soon, Ming Xian and Guang Wei came out. Ming Xian's face hadn't recovered yet. Clearly, she hadn't eaten the pill yet. Yi Mo asked Ming Xian Qianbei, what happened? And before you came to Heartless Sea, do you know about Pei High City's MOU? Ming Xian thought and said, you probably know who the #1 solo cultivator in North Far State is, right? Yi Mo nodded. Yes, Ling Zhongtian. Disaster Transformation State Peak Stage Power. It said he's the strongest in North Far State. Ming Xian nodded. That's right. There are 3 great disaster transformation state cultivators in North Far State. One Yu Sex Shan Fei, Jade Woman Sex Tang Meng Rao, and then Ling Zhongtian. They're all disaster transformation state, but Ling Zhongtian is the strongest. I heard he's near truth realization state cultivator, and he can fight people at higher levels than him. Even truth realization state primary stage cultivators won't be able to beat him. Yi Mo had a pretty good impression of Ling Zhongtian, whether it was seeing his temperament at the herb plane or due to Su Changji's relationship with him. Ming Xian said, I have a disciple called Qin Muxin, you know, right? Yi Mo quickly said, yes, I know Martial Sister Muxin. I saw her at South Peace State. She's now South Peace State's 8-star sect, Heartless Valley's core disciple. Huh? You saw Muxin at South Peace State? Ming Xian got up excitedly, and so did Guang Wei. Huh? You saw Muxin at South Peace State? Ming Xian got up excitedly, and so did Guang Wei. Yi Mo let the two sit down before saying, yes, Ming Xian Qianbei. She's doing very well now, and is a level 1 pill king. You don't need to worry for her. That's good. That's good. It's so good to join 8-star sect, Ming Xian said, and then sunk down in her chair. She wasn't fortunate enough to be your wife. Yi Mo felt awkward and didn't know what to say, but luckily Ming Xian thought of something and said in shock, that's right, I heard you in a South Peace State. Yi Mo replied, yes, Qianbei, I came from South Peace State, and I'm planning to cross the Heartless Sea. I met Martial Sister Guang Wei on the way. You're really crossing the Heartless Sea, Ming Xian murmured, and then stared at Yi Mo. What's your cultivation level? Yi Mo was scared about talking about his cultivation as his progress was too abnormal. Ordinary people couldn't comprehend it. But now that Ming Xian asked, he could only reply, I'm cauldron filling state level 6. Ming Xian heard this, and after a long while, she sighed. Yi Mo, I knew you were a prodigy before, but you've far exceeded what I expected. Cauldron filling state level 6. This is rare in the entire North Far State, and yet you're so young. I feel like I've been wasting my life compared to you. Ming Xian paused and said, Yi Mo, don't call me Qianbei anymore. Your power is much higher than mine. Just call me Ming Xian or Sister Ming Xian. Yi Mo smiled. I call Mu Xian and Guang Wei Martial Sister. If I called you sister, things would be messy. I'll still call you Qianbei. Plus, I have a different view than others. Just because power is higher doesn't mean you're a Qianbei. Guang Wei was shocked even more. When she first saw Yi Mo, he was only Foundation Establishment State, and she even saw when he formed his Golden Core. Yi Mo's Golden Core was above the 9 grades, and her big martial sister said Yi Mo's future was boundless. Now, it really did seem so. Ming Xian hesitated and nodded. Okay then. Yi Mo saw that she didn't ask about other things, so he asked, Ming Xian Qianbei, you talked about the 3 disaster transformation state cultivators and Muxin Martial Sister. What happened? Ming Xian answered, the reason Ming Xian could go to South Peace State is because of 8-star sect Jade Woman, Sex Tang Mingrao's recommendation. Tang Qianbei saw Muxin and believed she was a pill concoction prodigy. It was such a waste for her to stay at North Far State, so she recommended her to go South P State. Then Ming Xian sighed. In the North Far State, the three disaster transformation states were the foundation pillars, but the usually united three disaster transformation states one day fought with each other. Why? Yemo heard this and asked in shock. Ming Xian shook her head. I don't know specifically, but it was over a woman. Tang Mengrao Qianbei and Shan Fei Qianbei fought with Ling Zihongtian Qianbei. It's said that the battle was so intense that a few mountains were destroyed. That battle went on for a few days, and eventually both sides were injured. It's said that Ling Zhongtian Qianbei took a woman, and she was from the Jade Woman sect. My status was too low, and I didn't dare to ask who it was. Yi Mo frowned and said, Ming Xian Qianbei, tell me first what happened afterwards. Ming Xian continued. After Ling Zhongtian Qianbei left, he disappeared, and no one heard from him again. But soon after, things happened in North Far State. The beast tide appeared not only at Broken Leaf City but also Peihai City. Usually they come and go, but this time they didn't go and had more numbers and powers. Ling Zhongtian wasn't there, and those solo cultivator couldn't unite to fend off the spirit beasts. Shan Fei Qianbei and Tang Mengrao Qianbei went separately to Broken Leaf Cody and Peihai City despite their heavy injuries. Yimo's heart sunk. Jingwen and them were all at Peihai City. He asked desperately. Ming Xian Qianbei. Peihai City was also attacked. Ming Xian nodded. Yes, Tang Mengrao Qianbei went to Peihai City. We followed her there to help her, but there were disaster transformation state beast cultivators in that beast tide, and more than 10 level 9 spirit beasts. Although many North Far State cultivators went to help, there were too many. Was Peihai City broken in? Yi Mo asked anxiously. Ming Xian shook her head. When I left, it wasn't. A powerful cultivator came and stopped the beast tide. I didn't see clearly, but that powerful cultivator seemed on par with Tang Mengrao Qianbei. Yi Mo breathed easy and then asked, You left? Ming Xian replied, Yes, although Tang Mengrao Qianbei was heavily injured. She was in the middle of the battle constantly. Her injuries got worse and worse. A lot of cultivators from Jade Woman sect died. There were only me and 2 disciples following Tang Qianbei, and a few solo cultivators. Seeing that she was about to die, we wanted to take her to escape. During our escape, my sect's Lui Wedeng also disappeared. Eventually, we had nowhere to go, so we went into the Heartless Sea. Ming Xian sighed. Although Guang Wei and I got away, we were heavily injured. We could only find an island to recover. We stayed a few months on that island with arid spirit Qi before recovering. Then we went to find Tang Qianbei, but we lost our direction. We just wandered around for another 3 years, but we still didn't find our direction. We decided to stop by an island and cultivate while we thought of a way. Yi Mo sighed. Ming Xian was only Hollow Spirit State Tertiary Stage, and Guang Wei was worse, Golden Core State Level 9. It was extremely fortunate that nothing happened to them in those years in the Heartless Sea. Ming Xian said, Before we could find an island to stay on, we were captured by beast cultivators. They wanted to rape us, but when they saw we were both virgins and our talent was good, they changed their mind. They knew they would get much better profit by selling us. Guang Wei looked down in embarrassment when Ming Xian said this. Then you and Martial Sister Guang Wei were brought to Yinhai City? Yi Mo asked. Ming Xian nodded. They spent about half a year to reach Yinhai City. Then, you know what happened. Yi Mo's face went bad. He had a good impression of Ling Zhongtian and the Wang Yu sect's Shan Fei. He was recommended to South Peace State by Shan Fei. Although he gave them the spirit recovery pill, Shan Fei also protected MOU and set a hollow spirit state cultivator there. Yi Mo's face went bad. He had a good impression of Ling Zhongtian and the Wang Yu sect's Shan Fei. He was recommended to South Peace State by Sean Fei. Although he gave them the spirit recovery pill, Sean Fei also protected MOU and set a hollow spirit state cultivator there. However, it didn't matter to him why they fought. He was worried about MOU, Song Yangzhu, Yiling, Song Yangzhu, and the rest. Meng Hanan suddenly asked, Sister Ming Xian said that the three most powerful people in North Far State all got injured, and then the spirit beast attacked. Could there be some shenanigans there? Yi Mo also felt this thing was very dodgy, but he hadn't gone back to North Far State and couldn't be sure if someone plotted this. Ming Xian wanted to comfort Yi Mo upon seeing his worried face, but Yi Mo suddenly asked Ming Xian Qianbei, that means when you left Peihai City, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. Ming Xian nodded. Yes, it's indeed been almost 5 years. Yi Mo was at a loss. 5 years. So much could happen in 5 years. He set up a teleportation formation at MOU and could only hope that if Peihai City was really broken into, they would be able to leave through that. Ming Xian said again, Yi Mo, don't worry. When I left, a powerful being came, and humans gradually had the upper hand. As soon as they got the upper hand, countless cultivators would flock to help. Yi Mo sighed. He could only think like that. Ming Xian said gratefully again, Yi Mo, thank you for giving me this many pills. Yi Mo nodded. Ming Xian Qianbei, if you don't want to stay in North Far State, you can come back with us to South Peace State this time. Ming Xian heard this and didn't say anything. After a long while, she responded, I can't go. I have Immortal Herb Valley. If you can take someone away, then take Guang Wei. Her talent is really good. It's a waste for her to stay in North Far State. Guang Wei's eyes went red and just wanted to say something when Yi Mo got up and opened the restriction of the room. Teng Yi and Bian Fengta came back looking excited. Yi Mo looked at the two and asked, You two seem very happy? Teng Yi laughed. It's because we heard about the Kuan scale. It's really here, but it's in the City Lord Estate. Each year it would be taken out for show, but it's not for sale. Bian Fengta said, every year, the City Lord Estate would hold a cultivation resource trade social. Before the social, the City Lord would show the Kuan scale to everyone. There are about 3 months till the social. We can stay here for 3 months. Yi Mo was thinking about Peihai City, but even without it, he wasn't going to stay here for 3 months. He felt very uncomfortable here. We can't stay here for 3 months, Meng Hanan suddenly said. She also felt very uncomfortable here. Yi Mo nodded. Indeed, we must leave here immediately. Then he said again, I want to visit the City Lord of Yinhai City. Regardless if I can get the scale, I must try. You want to visit the City Lord? Teng Yi immediately waved his hand. You don't need to go. You won't be able to see him at all. It's said he's very powerful and doesn't see guests. How can you see him? How would I know if I don't try? If I really can't, we'll leave the sea immediately, Yi Mo said. Meng Hanan suddenly said, Marshal Brother Yi, I'll come with you. Yi Mo nodded. Let's go now, then. As soon as they walked out, Meng Hanan said, Yi Mo, if you have a mortal curl flower, you might really be able to get the Kuan scale. Yi Mo shook his head. He only had one last immortal curl flower. He wasn't going to swap it. Perhaps this was the last one in the entire cultivation realm. Meng Hanan sighed. She knew it was probably impossible to get the Kuan scale without something like the immortal curl flower. The City Lord Estate was right in the middle of the city. It was grand and luxurious. There was a huge square in front of it. The square was covered in blue spirit bricks, filling the place with spirit chi, while making it seem royal. Yi Mo thought of Bright Moon City when he saw this city. When they came to the border of the square, they were stopped by 2 body condensation state cultivators. Stop. This is the City Lord Estate. No one is allowed to come near, otherwise we have orders to kill. Meng Hanan thought Yi Mo would make the 2 body condensation state go report, and then go in, but Yemo just took out a jade slip and gave it to the body condensation state. Give this jade slip to the city lord. It's very important to him. Of course, you can choose to not give it, but if you can be responsible for that, you can do it. Then, Yemo came to the border of the square and didn't wait for the two to respond. Meng Hanan looked at Yemo in confusion. Yemo, are you sure just a jade slip is fine? What should we do? Should we leave now? Yemo proposed, let's go to the spirit rest tower ahead for 2 hours. If he still doesn't come, then we'll leave immediately. The two guards looked at each other. After a while, the body condensation state said, what should we do? Should we chase up and give it back to him? The other cultivator shook his head. Even if we give it to him, if it's something the city lord needs, we won't get away with it. But we don't have the power to give it to the city lord. The cultivators were so desperate they were about to cry. At this moment, a cold voice sounded, bring the jade slip in. The two heard this voice and were shaken, but they quickly reacted and bowed. We greet city lord. Then, the two quickly passed the square and went into the city lord estate. Yemo and Meng Hanan quickly came to the spirit rest tower and opened a room. They went in and didn't talk. Meng Hanan glanced at Yemo and didn't say anything. She felt Yemo seemed more troubled after he left the square. Her guess was right. Yemo was a level 9 formation grandmaster. He wasn't a top level 9 formation grandmaster, but it was impossible for ordinary formations to trick his eyes. Knowing this, he still saw a huge formation outside the city lord estate. It wasn't a spirit gathering formation nor defense one. It was a refining formation. Yemo felt that High City was like a small world, and now he saw a refining formation. He immediately knew that someone was trying to spirit control the small world. If the High City was really a small world, and if it was spirit-controlled, then even a single grass fate would be controlled. Thinking about this, Yemo broke out in a cold sweat. What if the city lord invited all the powerful people in the 4 states to the city and closed off the small world? If the High City was really a small world, and if it was spirit-controlled, then even a single grass fate would be controlled. Thinking about this, Yemo broke out in a cold sweat. What if the city lord invited all the powerful people in the 4 states to the city and closed off the small world? Thinking about this, Yemo felt it was very possible. The city lord held the social every year. Who knew if he would have a big one after he spirit-controlled the small world? To other cultivators, High City was indeed very safe and fair. With this, if they held a huge social, how many cultivators would come? Yemo didn't dare to imagine. Yemo understood now why the High City had such a good reputation. It was intentional. If this was the case, then this city lord was too scary. But why did he not spirit control this place even after a few thousand years? Yemo knew he couldn't discuss this with Meng Hanan. They had to leave first. Yemo and Meng Hanan didn't wait very long. After they just drank their first cup of spirit tea, a middle-aged cultivator came with a pale-faced man following behind him. He seemed like a ghost behind him. The middle-aged man set up a restriction before looking at Yemo calmly. You went to the city lord estate to find me? Do you know the consequences if your jade slip contains lies? Yemo felt a powerful pressure as soon as this man came. This man definitely was the city lord Insu, but Yemo didn't expect him to be such a handsome man. He seemed only about in his 30s. His black hair casually landed on his shoulder. His body had good ratios, too. He seemed like the perfect man. Even Meng Hanan was amazed by his looks. But what put Yemo on alert was that Insu was Truth Realization State Level 9, and his power was no weaker than Lu Wuhu. Yemo got up and saluted with his fists. Wanbei knows City Lord is very busy. I don't dare to trick you at all. City Lord, please have a seat, and you too. The middle-aged man saw that Yemo called himself Wanbei, but didn't seem to act like one at all. and was a little surprised, but he nodded and sat down. However, that ghost-like person behind him remained standing. Meng Hanan helped Yin Su pour 2 cups of spirit tea, and also bowed. Wan Bei Meng Hanan greets City Lord, and this master. Yin Su looked at Meng Hanan and nodded before looking at Yi Mo again. Yi Mo took out a jade bottle and gave it to Yin Su, saying, "City Lord, please have a look. This is the thing I mentioned in the jade slip. I know this thing is very precious, but I don't dare to guess how precious it is." Yin Su took the jade bottle and opened it. His face changed immediately. He sniffed it before covering it in shock and looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. This really is 10,000-year stalagmite marrow, a level 10 spirit medicine. And there are 10 drops here. Where did you get this? Yin Su rejoiced that he had come. Everyone knew about it, but it was too rare in the cultivation realm. It could not only repair spirit sense and soul, but also give birth to spirit roots. Those who couldn't cultivate could develop spirit roots by using it. Meng Hanan also looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. She thought the most precious thing on Yi Mo was immortal curl flower, but there was this too. She really couldn't distinguish which was more valuable. "You wouldn't show this to me for no reason. Tell me, what do you want?" Yin Su frowned, but didn't give back the stalagmite marrow. Yi Mo immediately saluted with his fists. "City Lord, the thing Wan Bei wants is only owned by you. Tell me." Yin Su frowned. He felt that the thing Yi Mo wanted wouldn't be simple, or he wouldn't take out the 1,000-year stalagmite marrow. Yi Mo nodded. "Wan Bei heard City Lord has a coin scale, so I want it. Would you be able to give it to me?" Hearing this, Yin Su's eyes flashed with a sliver of bleakness. He stared coldly at Yi Mo and asked, "Do you think 10 drops of the stalagmite marrow can trade for the coin scale? Plus, even if I give it to you, you think you can keep it?" Meng Hanan's heart sunk. She believed the 10 drops were very precious, and it wasn't impossible to trade for the coin scale. The City Lord said this, clearly meaning that he didn't want to trade with Yi Mo. Yi Mo immediately showed a horrified look and saluted with his fists. "Wan Bei doesn't know the value of the coin scale. I thought 10 drops of the stalagmite marrow would be able to trade for it. Wan Bei was too ignorant. Please forgive me, City Lord. Luckily, this is the Inhai City, or else Wan Bei's actions would be too outrageous." Hearing this, the City Lord's face eased up a little. "No matter. You didn't trick me on your jade slip after all. Although Inhai City doesn't dare to compare power with South Peace State's Pill City, it's the #1 fair place." Yi Mo immediately said, "Thank you, City Lord. Wan Bei won't waste your time anymore." Before the City Lord could nod, Yi Mo went to grab the stalagmite marrow, while smirking inside. 10 drops couldn't trade for a coin scale? Who was this guy tricking? Of course, if that coin scale belonged to a mature coin, then even thousands of drops wouldn't be as valuable as it. But Meng Hanan said the coin was a newborn and was only a level 7 spirit beast. The stalagmite marrow was Yi Mo's, and the City Lord couldn't stop Yi Mo from taking back his own thing, so he could only put it down awkwardly on the table and let Yi Mo take it. Meng Hanan suddenly understood why Yi Mo saw the City Lord here. It was a public place. Even if the City Lord wanted it, he couldn't rob it, or the reputation of justice and fairness the city had set up for countless years would disappear. Meng Hanan admired Yi Mo greatly now. If they really went into the City Lord estate, then even if they never came back out, it wouldn't cause much drama. The City Lord suddenly said, "How long do you plan to stay in the city?" 3 months later, there will be a huge social, and there will be many precious things there. Although they might not be as precious as the coin scale, they will be very rare. Yi Mo laughed in self-mockery. "I probably can't stay here for 3 months. I'm actually a level 9 spirit pill master. I'm planning to go back to the hotel and concoct the stalagmite marrow into spirit root purifying pill, and then sell it before I leave." Hearing this, Yin Su's face changed immediately. He didn't expect Yi-Mo to waste it like that. A level 9 spirit pill master dared to use it for pill concoction? Wait! Seeing that Yi-Mo was going to leave, In-Su called him back. He didn't trade, but that didn't mean he didn't want the stalagmite marrow. If this idiot used it for pill concoction, how could he get it? Yi-Mo sneered. He knew the value of the stalagmite marrow wasn't cheaper than the Kuan scale. Yi-Mo sneered. He knew the value of the stalagmite marrow wasn't cheaper than the Kuan scale. This guy asked how long he was planning to stay in here, so he would attack once he left the city. But Yi-Mo wasn't going to do things according to his will. He said he was going to waste it. He didn't believe In-Su would be able to hold his temper. If he could do even that, Yi-Mo could only stay in the city and not dare to go out, because if he went out, he would die. Yi-Mo had a very clear sixth sense from cultivating the three-birth chant. He saw there was no luck here when he saw In-Su. He either succeeded or died here. Now that In-Su stopped him, Yi-Mo quickly saluted with his fists. "Qian Bei, do you have any other orders?" In-Su nodded. "Yes, it's too much of a waste to use the 10,000-year stalagmite marrow to concoct level 9 spirit pills. It's not as valuable as the Kuan scale, but it's very rare." Even Meng Hanan could tell that In-Su wanted to trade for the 10,000-year stalagmite marrow, but couldn't find an excuse. The city lord had to trade it with Yi-Mo now, since he knew Yi-Mo was going to waste it as soon as he got back. Yi-Mo took out another Sha fruit and said, "City lord, I suddenly remembered I have a level 9 spirit fruit. If I use both of them to trade, would you be willing to?" "It's actually level 9 spirit fruit Sha fruit." In-Su looked at Yi-Mo in shock again. Just how many good things did this young cultivator have? Meng Hanan was more speechless. Every time Yi-Mo took out something, it was something she didn't expect. Even if he was going to give In-Su away to trade, he didn't need to give something this precious. "Great, we can trade now. The Kuan scale is very precious, but what you give me is more important." In-Su took out a red jade box and gave it to Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo gave the Sha fruit and stalagmite marrow over without hesitation. The Sha fruit wasn't completely mature, but it was still a level 9 spirit fruit. Yi-Mo did this, so In-Su would have no other excuses. Yi-Mo took the jade box excitedly and saluted with his fists to In-Su. "Thank you, City Lord. Wan Bei will be leaving now." He didn't even open the jade box and took Meng Hanan to leave immediately. "There's a restriction on the jade box. How you know it's the Kuan scale inside?" Meng Hanan immediately asked. Yi-Mo said heavily, "I was sure it is as soon as I got it. Plus, he won't be cheating me on this. It doesn't suit his identity." Meng Hanan nodded and said worriedly, "But I think that City Lord—" Yi-Mo waved to her. "Let's talk when we get back." How could he not know that the city lord wanted to kill him? It was so obvious, whether it was for the 10,000-year stalagmite marrow or the level 9 spirit herb. Plus, he now had the Kuan scale. Yi-Mo was certain that In-Su wouldn't let him leave In-Hai City with the Kuan scale. He needed it to attract all sorts of cultivators to come here and settle or trade. But for Yi-Mo, it was fine as long as he had the Kuan scale. As soon as Yi-Mo left, In-Su looked at the jade bottle and the fruit for a long while before saying coldly, "I didn't expect a mere cauldron-filling state cultivator would have this many good things. Just how many more secrets does he have to be able to reach cauldron-filling state in 100 years? The shadow-like figure behind him suddenly said, "Master, why trade with him? We can just find an excuse to kick him out of the city, and I'll go kill them. Simple." In-Su shook his head. "If we kick away a cultivator for no reason, it would cause drama. Plus, I'm only lending it to him for a few days. My spirit sense mark is on there. If he touches it, I will know. That cultivator definitely has a lot of secrets. He might leave the city. Keep a close eye on him. If he leaves, then follow immediately. Even if we send 2 truth realization states, I want you to bring his secrets back to In High City. Yes, master, the shadow answered. As soon as Yi Mo and Meng Henan came back, the rest of the people came up. How was it? Did the city lord show you the Kuan scale? Tung Yi asked. Yi Mo nodded. I'll let Sister Meng tell you. Ji Qian Bei, I need to go into solitary cultivation now. Set up restrictions on this hotel. Don't allow any spirit sense to come in. Before I come out, don't leave the hotel. As soon as I come out, we'll leave immediately. Hearing this, everyone agreed. Yi Mo went inside his room and set up a few restrictions before going into the Golden Page world. It was dangerous to go in the Golden Page world here, but he couldn't care about it. After coming back from the square, he knew that the city lord hadn't completely spirit-controlled the Yin High City. With Ji Ling Qian Bei and his restrictions, it would be enough to stop the spirit sense or a truth realization state peak stage cultivator. As soon as Yi Mo went into the Golden Page world, he suddenly felt uneasy, but he shook his head as he couldn't find the problem. He took out the red box immediately and saw the hidden spirit sense mark on there. Yi Mo carefully opened it and saw a palm-sized scale. It was faint blue. This was indeed the Kuan scale. The next moment, Yi Mo took out Blue Moon. Although he was just a level 3 forgery grandmaster and could only forge low-grade cultivation artifacts, he didn't plan to completely integrate the scale into Blue Moon. He only needed it to upgrade Blue Moon's quality. Yi Mo didn't hope for immortal artifact, but a half-immortal artifact should be fine. He would fully integrate the scale into Blue Moon when he was a level 7 forgery grandmaster or later. Yi Mo also planned to add in a few bitter bamboo leaves. Then Yi Mo released the Mist Lotus Heartfire, but before he started to melt the Kuan scale, he felt something was wrong and put away the Mist Lotus Heartfire. Moments later, he spotted a very small spirit sense mark. He was shocked if he clumsily molded the scale into Blue Moon and didn't find the spirit sense mark. It would mean that Insu would know wherever he went. There was a restriction covering the spirit sense mark. If he touched the scale, then Insu would immediately know. Thinking about this, Yi Mo came out of the Golden Page world immediately and wiped the sweat from his head. If Insu couldn't sense his spirit sense mark, would he come to this hotel immediately? That was highly possible. He couldn't risk that. Luckily, he was a level 9 formation grandmaster. He carefully peeled off that restriction and then put the spirit sense mark and the restriction into the blue lightning source bead he got from Tian Alfing. Then he put the bead back into the red box and breathed easy. He checked the scale many times over and made sure there was no spirit sense mark before going into his Golden Page world. Meanwhile, he left that jade box in his room. Yi Mo didn't know that when he went into the Golden Page world, Insu immediately felt his spirit sense mark disappear. He frowned and was about to do something, but he noticed the spirit sense mark again. Insu sat down but wanted to catch Yi Mo, this insect cultivator. Even more, he wanted to know all of Yi Mo's secrets. After going in the Golden Page world, Yi Mo didn't have that feeling of unease anymore. He immediately knew that the feeling was caused by the jade box. If he didn't send that jade box out, perhaps Insu would be at the hotel already. After going in the Golden Page world, Yi Mo didn't have that feeling of unease anymore. He immediately knew that the feeling was caused by the jade box. If he didn't send that jade box out, perhaps Insu would be at the hotel already. Yi Mo released the Mist Lotus Heartfire, and this time he threw the scale in. He thought that Mist Lotus Heartfire was a heaven flame and red-colored, so it would be able to mold the scale. But 8 minutes later, Yi Mo was disappointed. The scale only melted a little bit. With this speed, he would need a few days to melt it. And that was just the first step. How many days would he need to fuse it with Blue Moon? Soon, Yi Mo realized that time wasn't even the problem. If his fire melted the scale this slowly, he wouldn't be able to fuse. This was the simplest method in forgery. Realizing this, the reason he wasn't scared of Su was because he was a forgery grandmaster. If he got the coin scale, he could mold it into his blue moon. Once Blue Moon was a half-immortal artifact, even truth realization state cultivators wouldn't be able to catch up to him. However, the reality was that his mist lotus heart fire wasn't enough to mold the coin scale. Yi Mo felt very annoyed. His brain operated rapidly to think of a way out. If he didn't deal with the city lord, he really wasn't scared of those disaster transformation state cultivator, but he was facing truth realization state cultivators now. Yi Mo couldn't think of any other way other than upgrading Blue Moon. In order to do that, he needed to mold the scale, but other than upgrading his heaven flame, there was no other way. Thinking about the mist lotus heart fire, Yi Mo remembered he still had a flame lotus heart. It was given to him by Lu Wuhu, and he hadn't used it. Yi Mo immediately took it out and felt its scorching heat. Without the need for Yi Mo to do anything, the mist lotus heart fire had already swept it away. Yi Mo looked satisfiedly and believed his heaven flame would be able to reach green color this time. But Yi Mo was soon disappointed. The flame lotus heart was devoured rapidly, but his mist motu's lotus heart fire only became a little darker. It was still red. Yi Mo took out the coin scale. It melted faster, but wasn't enough to upgrade Blue Moon. Yi Mo put down the coin scale dejectedly, while thinking how he could upgrade Mist Lotus Heartfire. He took out all the ores Menghanan gave him and put them in front. He was planning to test them all to see which material would be useful for the Mist Lotus Heartfire. Soon, Yi Mo was surprised to see his Mist Lotus Heartfire lean towards a blue ore. Yi Mo immediately remembered that it was the ore he got from the Chu 18 discs. It was a little hot, and he felt it would benefit him at the time. Now, Yi Mo realized it would benefit the Mist Lotus Heartfire. Yi Mo took it over immediately, and it was soon swept into the Mist Lotus Heartfire. The Mist Lotus Heartfire exploded after devouring that blue ore. The heat rose drastically. Yi Mo felt the flame getting hotter and hotter. Yi Mo was shook. He had already spirit-controlled Mist Lotus Heartfire. How could he feel the heat? Soon, Yi Mo felt that he was slowly losing control of the Mist Lotus Heartfire. It was as though it was going to fly out of his hands. Yi Mo knew things weren't good. He quickly burnt some blood and used 3-birth chant to control the Mist Lotus Heartfire. Luckily, bad things didn't happen, and the flame gradually calmed down. Moments later, the Mist Lotus Heartfire started to show a green color. After another 15 minutes, the flames turned aqua. 15 minutes later, when Yi Mo saw the flame turn into a blue color, he was astonished. He realized what the blue ore did. It could upgrade any rare flame into a blue color. Such a terrifying, or this was the rare treasure of the world. Yi Mo was sure that the blue ore was much more valuable than the Kuan scale. Many people thought it was hard getting a rare flame, but it was much harder to upgrade it. If it was below red color, it wasn't too bad, but after red, it would be countless times harder. Yet, this blue ore could upgrade his Mist Lotus Heartfire to blue color. It was too absurd. Yi Mo couldn't think of an ore that was this powerful. Not even a level 10 or would be able to do that. Yi Mo rejoiced that he made the decision to take the ore. It was perfect for him. Half a day later, the Mist Lotus Heartfire had calmed down, and a water blue flame jumped around on his palm. Yi Mo was surprised and overjoyed. He could feel the terrifying power of the Mist Lotus Heartfire. He felt he could even use it to attack a truth realization state cultivator. Mist Lotus Heartfire now gave him endless hope. He admired the flame for 15 minutes before taking out a few materials to test. They all soon melted into liquid. Yi Mo used very little spirit sense and cultivation essence to control it. Usually, it would take him a day to forge a low-grade cultivation artifact, but now it only took him 4 hours. Plus, aesthetically speaking, it was much prettier than before. With the Mist Lotus Heartfire's upgrade, Yimo's forgery skills and pill concoction both improved. Putting this newly forged low-grade cultivation artifact aside, Yimo took out the Kuan scale and threw it into the flame. Now, the scale melted rapidly. In just moments, it was done. Yimo quickly took out Blue Moon and molded the scale into it while throwing out hand signs and inscribing formations. He couldn't completely mold the scale into Blue Moon, but just partially was enough for now. 3 days later, the Kuan scale was gone, and Blue Moon let out a phoenix-like howl. It seemed a little more alive. Yimo was overjoyed. In order to better control Blue Moon, he started to spirit control it again. A day later, Yimo got up. Blue Moon was now a half-immortal artifact. He desperately wanted to test its speed. A big part of his plan had succeeded. He only needed to hide Blue Moon's chi, and then leave Inhai City. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.